Greetings, fellow Disney debaters, and welcome to the first Disney Debate Live of 2017. That's right, it's an all New Year's edition of Disney Debate Live, where we'll be breaking down the following subjects. What is the all-time greatest... shoot, I already lost my place. Great, I'm sorry. Wow.
Let all acquaintance be forgotten.
What Disney character would you like to spend New Year's Eve with and party with? What is the best movie of 2016 released by Disney? What is the most inspirational Walt Disney quote? Help me out, guys, here. What's the fourth one?
Star Wars
documentary.
What is the pitch of Star Wars documentary?
And Nightmare Before Christmas tree.
And if you had to do a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel, what holiday tree would you like to explore? I'm sorry, guys. I have Google effects pulled up here instead of the chat. It got me all messed up. Anyways, in this corner, we have the reigning champion of Disney debates. Ever first, we started doing Sandy, Jacob, and Dragon in this lineup. Dragon has basically been the reigning champion. We have BlueDragonFive! And in this corner, we have the people's champion, Santa Claus. And in this corner, we have the resident guru of all things animation, Jacob Wile.
Thank you.
All right, are you guys ready to get to the debates?
Yeah.
No, you're not, because you haven't seen this yet.
Oh. Wait. What?
What?
Does that Snoopy have a handlebar mustache?
Yes.
What? Are you kidding me? I like that. For some reason, I really like that.
Well, that was a strange segue.
It's so funny. I was watching the Peanuts New Year's thing, and Snoopy had a painting in his doghouse of a relative that looked just like Snoopy, but with a mustache like that. Exactly like that.
Okay, guys, so New Year's Eve happened just last night. We got to say, I partaked in a little drinking myself, so I did do a little partying last night, and the question of the first round is a New Year's Eve specific question. It is, what Disney character would you like to party with on New Year's Eve? Okay, guys,
That was
you
over
like
the
that?
night.
You like that? I'm glad you like that.
Just say that was timed perfectly.
Thank you.
God.
Okay,
I
guys,
mean,
here's how this is going to work, guys. You're going to have 1 minute to give your opening statements. Then we'll get into a free-form debate. When you hear the dreaded, wait for it, when you hear the trademark sound of this podcast, that means that the debate has come to a close. You will each have 30 seconds to give your closing statement, and then I will deliberate a winner from there. So we have 5 questions, and then in honor of Carrie Fisher and Rogue One, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher, may the force be with her always. In honor of Carrie Fisher and Rogue One, we have an all Star Wars speed round at the end of it. So that's 5 more points you guys can get. So, all right, so let's get to it. Actually, shoot, you know what I don't have pulled up? I don't have the order. Shoot. Let me, just give me 1 moment. Just give me 1 minute. So how was your guys' New Year's Eves?
I watched the really excellent Al Pacino movie.
Which one?
Injustice for All.
Injustice for All.
No, it's called And Justice for You. It's like the end of the Pledge of Allegiance. It's the game.
And Justice for All. Cool.
Oh, it's really good, I tell you. It's something we got to talk about at some point. So it's so good. Basically, it's like what if Better Call Saul was like have more of like a serious emotion. It's basically Daredevil meets Better Call Saul, but with Al Pacino in it, kind of. It's kind of a.
All right. I apologize for that brief delay, folks. Let's get right back into it and, of course, select the order. Now, you guys know how this works. We'll randomize this list here, and then the order that goes in the randomization that comes up will be the order from first, second, third, and then we'll rotate from there. So, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's randomize.
You may fire
Okay.
already.
Okay, so we have Jacob first, Sandy second, and Dragon third, and then we'll rotate from there. So, Jacob, you ready to go? You have you have a minute. The time starts as soon as you start talking, sir.
Okay, for my character to party with, I chose Genie from Aladdin. Now, I chose him because Genie is the party. I mean, think about it. Even now with his semi-phenomenal, nearly cosmic powers, he can still throw a massive, great party. I mean, within the party would never stop. He can make the party last forever. I mean, he can conjure up anything. He can conjure anything. He can do He can do all kinds of impressions. He pretty much is the party himself. I mean, you won't have fun I mean, no, where else to go than someone who can basically do anything? Fun galore. He can create anything. Like, look at all the stuff he did. And he can throw parties, throw weddings, bar mitzvahs, whatever. So why not? So why not a New Year's Eve party?
All right. That was a good economic use of the time there, Jacob. So, Sandy, whenever you're ready, time starts whenever you start talking.
So mine is kind of mean-spirited.
Oh, God.
I think it'd be funny to party with Donald Duck.
Oh, no.
His temper in this building. I think it'd be hilarious just to sit back and watch him blow up in anger.
Oh, God.
And I think I'd have more fun just watching him ruin it than I would celebrating it.
Oh, my God.
I find Donald Duck when he's angry, especially when he's angry, incredibly hilarious. So that'd be a total ball. No pun intended. That's it. I'm done.
That's it?
You're a sadist, you know that?
I just want to state for the record that I really like the creativity in that argument. We'll see where the debate goes. Okay, Dragon, you've got 1 minute as soon as you start talking.
"2016, it's been a mixed year, and if I'm going to count down the ending of it and spend time with someone who can make us go out on a laid-back, reflective note, undeniably, it's Frozone, the coolest character to spend New Year's with. That would end 2016 outright. I mean, he's got ice powers and can do ice tricks. You know, he's got tons of superhero stories with a fun slant to him, kind of a nonchalant, you know, like an interviewed style as we saw at the beginning of The Incredibles. And he'll tell you the full story. He's a cool guy like that. He's friends with The Incredibles, so if you invite him, you know, either you get some call The Incredibles, or they'll stop by. But you don't need him to. Regardless, like, hey, he knows some really interesting people. He has tons of stories about them too. It's just you get you have lots and lots of entertaining things you can do with Froze. I mean, he has like the thing you can call like an ice mountain in your backyard. You can ski down. You can do the sled thing with him. You can do all sorts of really fun stuff with Frozen. But again, the conversation's a huge thing you really get out of it.
Okay, so it is Frozone versus a very sadistic Donald Duck, just torturing Donald Duck for your own amusement. And then we have the Genie. So fight it out, guys. Fight it out.
So let me first, right out the gate, I need to ask something just to specify, Jacobs. So Genie, is your Genie, the one you're arguing here, is he with or without the lamp?
You remember at the end of the King of Thieves, he still pretty much had his normal cosmic power. So
Importantly, though, is he? So he's free of the lamp in your pitch. I mean, sorry, not your pitch. In your argument. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, he's free of the lamp. Well, look, without the lamp, it kind of plays to me that the Genie is going to be there. You know, he's going to be, as we've seen past the first Aladdin movie without the lamp, he's desperately trying to recapture the magic of the first movie. You know, when he had phenomenal cosmic power. Now he has like an iffy, like you can't really tell how much of it's like, you know, how much magic and how much power he's quite got, because it seems like it's kind of like half and half these days. Like, because everything he can throw at you can easily be dispersed with, or as we see in King of Thieves, especially as we see in Return of Jafar. I'm afraid that if you invite Gene to a party, or you have him at a party, or have him plan a party, it's gonna be like he's gonna be like the desperate comedian bombing. It's like, hey guys, remember I can do this? Because German Jafar, when he reappears, like, hey guys, I'm back. He's throwing cunts. He's just saying, hey, look, I'm so relevant. Please welcome me back in. Please, please, please. And I feel that's what it's gonna be like if he's.
You like me on The Simpsons, right?
That's what I'm saying. You know, he's
yanking at his tie, trying to swallow because he can't get a good joke.
Yeah, I just feel like he's going to be like a performer eventually it's going to be his performer overstaying his welcome, and it'll be like a sad buzzkill in the air of like, oh god, this poor guy. He's trying so desperately to entertain us, and he used to have a material. Now he used to have like showgirls and like caves of wonder and everything, and now he's a prop comic now.
Okay, let me just state that your argument here is very good, but it's also kind of depressing in the wake of propaganda.
I'm sorry, I told you I don't like being harsh on these Disney films and these debates, but I have to.
All right. I'm just
like
stating for the record. Okay, let's hear from some other people.
Well, I don't really have much to say because my idea of a New Year's Eve party is a lot different than theirs.
Oh yeah.
So
you're just plain cruel and sadistic. I mean, you want to watch Donald Duck in pain.
No, not in pain. Well, it depends on what you consider pain. I mean, I just want to see him get angry and just ruin the party.
Well, still, do you want all that property damage though? Do you have good insurance? So, I mean, there's a lot of destruction. Like, Chip and Dale are going to crash the party. They're going to get all sorts of shenanigans. It's going to the place is going to be in shambles because like, hey, these guys weren't invited. He's going to be chasing them around. Like, all sorts of things are going to fall on them. And again, you think from a logistical point of view here.
We can hold the party at his house. He can pay for it.
Oh God!
Aren't you worried about it for your own? You've seen the other characters get wrapped up when Donald's chasing around. Like Daisy's always getting peeved at him because she's also kind of moral danger in those situations. Do you want to be moral danger like Daisy Duck?
I'm just gonna sit back and watch it all unfold. I'm not gonna.
No, you're there. You can't just sit outside the window. You got to be in there.
Like it's kind of boring.
I can prod him to get him angry. In fact.
It's gonna be kind of boring after a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make an argument here, Sandy, but I'll do it after the debate. Okay? I just want to put something out there, but I'll do it after the debate, and I hope someone actually brings it up here. But
like I said, I really don't like I said, I really don't value New Year's Eve that much. I mean, it's a new year, so what? I really don't value it all that much. So just seeing it completely ruined wouldn't really affect my mood. Like I said, this would make me very, very happy just to see him blow up and get angry.
Well, sadism or not, tell me it wouldn't get old.
Gibberish.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that get old fast? If how long are you at this party?
I don't know.
How many times can he wreck the house before he starts to get old? I mean, look at that Tom Hanks movie. You destroy that whole house. How long before it gets old?
Let me just set the scene for Sandy. Basically, what you would want to do is you'd want to arrive at the bar with Donald Duck a half hour before the ball drops. And just just light a match and see where it goes.
Pretty much.
So that would get kind of old after a while. I mean, and not to mention that the untold damage and the
I don't think Genie's jokes would be any better, to be honest.
Remember, it's not just jokes. I mean, he could it's not just the jokes. I mean, that's all you guys are relying on for arguing against mine is the jokes. I mean, remember, he still has a bunch of magic up his sleeve. He can.
Well, it's temporary enjoyment, man. It's only oh hey, and then it's gone. It's it used to be
Frozone. I mean, Frozone's all temporary. I mean, Frozone's just oh yeah, he's a super big whoop.
No, I'm saying that's years of story potential. He's going to tell you some of these fantastic experiences and
Yeah, but you really want to just sit around listening to this guy tell about his
it's not just
the whole time.
Again, he can also do.
Genie's been around for over thousands. Genie's been around for over thousands of years. Think of the stories he could tell.
He's telling all these. Again, he's going to give you references you don't understand from years in the future you haven't even experienced yet, because that's how it works. All the references in Aladdin aren't really from before Aladdin. That's where we get our stories. These are all in the future.
Or in the past, if you follow that theory.
Well, it's kind of complicated with the whole like the timeline with Gene. Let's not get on this. Those Uber specifics. But look, I'm saying with Frozen, it's more. No. I'm saying that I think the conversation would be the most valuable. But along with that too, you have like really cool things. It's basically it's Sam Jackson with ice powers. Tell me that wouldn't be cool. It's just like one of the coolest voices, just kind of telling you all these like really interesting stories. And not only that, you also have like you can. I'm just trying to describe some ice trees. You can slide on like a giant sort of like a Hot Wheels track in a way. You could ski in your own backyard. You could build snow. You could do all. He creates like that giant snow landing in The Incredibles. You can say it's more than just conversation. You do all sorts of fun stuff on the side. And I'm just saying the conversation would be like a good way of ramping down the countdown. Like, oh boy, what a tough year. And this guy's keeping me entertained. And without feeling sad and desperate, basically he's company you don't want to leave. It's like a genie is like, okay, this is getting old. Please get him off. Give him the hook. Get him off the stage. Just he's throwing a lot of magical glitter at me.
Well, okay. Well, Dragon, I know people who are like what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know superheroes or anything, but I know people who like to talk about their life stories. And it gets old really fast. Trust me.
I haven't heard any of Frozen's life stories. It's like a once in a lifetime. I'm going to invite him. I'm just like, oh my god, please! It's like being a celebrity.
I know. But what you're saying is you don't want him to shut up about it, and I think that would get even older than the genie. I mean, hearing this guy just talk about his life as a superhero, and I think that would get old pretty quickly, man.
Well, I'm saying it's not a one-sided conversation. You're talking to him, you're striking up maybe a little bit of rapport, and then again, stuff. You do more than just talking.
So he's gonna be his times that he saved you, and you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah.
It's not about like he hasn't saved me at all. I'm just me. First, he's saying he saved other people. So what's it like when you just like kind of logistics of having powers. Like, how did you learn to control it? So how did that happen? What happens? It's sort of like the.
I think if it was some kind of one-on-one superhero thing where you're like talking about and sharing stories about your life events and things like that, I think that'd be pretty interesting. But I think just you being an average citizen and him being some big shot superhero, I think that'd be. You kind of get kind of old.
Look, I go to Comic-Con every year, and I get to hear where the ideas for these stories that come from. Be kind of a similar thing. Like, yeah, please tell me, what drives you, man? Like, why? How does it feel, when you save a human life? What's going on there? And also you get the logistical things like how did you get costumes? Of course, will lead to Edna Mode, and you get some fun stories there, I'm sure.
All right, I'm just saying. I think
fun to party with.
I've heard enough. All right, guys. I think this was a pretty even round. You all got good, really fun points against each other. But we'll have one final 30-second final statement for you all. So, Jacob, we will start with you. And also, I have a couple facts to check at the end of this. So, okay, Jacob, whenever you want to start talking, 30 seconds.
Like a genie could, with his magic, could throw you any kind of party you could ever want for. You don't know. Then you could invite everybody. You can invite others, and he could just throw the party. He is the party, and all the stories from thousands of years of lifespan. He could easily entertain you for hours. Not necessarily with jokes, but stories, among other things. Frozone his stories would get monotonous and old pretty quickly, and Donald Duck, wouldn't get it. Now that would kind of get boring and get monotonous and probably even a bit dangerous after a while.
Okay, Sandy, whenever you're ready, 30 seconds.
All right. Well, Genie is he sees larger than life, and I think that itself is pretty. It would get pretty annoying pretty quickly. Frozen, I think it's pretty one note. It's basically the same story. He's just saving people's lives over and over again. And just imagine Donald Duck wearing a party hat, screaming and all gibberish, waving his fists at other people. I think it'd be pretty hilarious. I just sit in my sit and spin and watch as he wreaks havoc on the party, harvesting enjoyment out of all of it. Because
Okay, let me reset. Dragon, whenever you're ready, 30 seconds.
It boils down to this. Donald will bring destruction and mess, and look, sadist or not, eventually it's going to turn scary like the cow scene from the Jack and the Beanstalk show. And it has a voice that's going to become grating after a while. Genie's a sad reminder you'll regret it. A sad reminder you'll regret inviting. Frozen's an awesome time of stories, ice tricks, good conversation overall, and tell me Sam Jackson with ice powers doesn't sound like a fun time. Come on, that's good. That's just a cool way to end out the year. Like, I get to talk to Frozone. How cool is that, right?
Okay. Let's see. Sandy, I think your argument, you did stick to landing a little bit. One of the things, this is actually kind of close here. So, Dragon, honestly, all three of you gave really good arguments, guys. This was a really fun debate. Dragon, I'm going to have to eliminate you in third place right now because they gave, like, really good counterexamples of, like, well, yeah, honestly, I think your kind of love of superheroes is kind of just blinding you right here where, I don't know, I think the other two options are a little bit more creative than Frozone, and yeah, it's Sam Jackson, but we're talking about the character here, not just, the actor, so...
Well, it's the fact that it does have the voice of Sam Jackson. That's kind of very similar.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily the same thing, though. And I think Sandy and Jacob both pointed out, he does have basically one type of story, like the superhero story. Yeah, there's variations, even, but the Edna mode. But you didn't even you mentioned ice powers right at the very end, and maybe if you're partying with Frozone involved the ice powers more. And less so just waxing nostalgic about superhero times, like the interviews. So that's where you kind of lost me a little bit. Now it's between Jacob and Sandy. Sandy, your answer might be one of the most creative answers in the history of Disney debates, I think. Jacob did give some good arguments, but we heard a pretty fiery and passionate shot down from Dragon that, might I say, was Dragon, I know you don't like doing it, but you did a really good kind of takedown of that character.
Well, you should have heard what I would have said if he was with the lamp. I had a much darker thing for if he had the lamp.
Okay, also, I want to address that. I'm not going to take away any points for the whole magic because I specifically checked the Disney Wiki. To quote the Disney Wiki, after getting his freedom, it is unclear if these powers, it is unclear how limited his powers are, but it's implied, although he stated that he has suffered a reduction of power due to his new freedom, describing his current powers as now being semi-phenomenal, nearly cosmic power, as opposed to previous phenomenal cosmic power. So essentially, it's a little bit weakened, but he still can do magic, so...
But still, semi means half. It's kind of half and half.
Yeah, well, ultimately, guys, there's a couple things that, I didn't really hear enough about why, the property damage, you guys mentioned, Donald, just have it at his own house, and then he just ruin his own house, and you wouldn't have to pay for it, and no one really shot down against that. And also the thing that I'm kind of impressed no one, got on Sandy for, and Sandy, this is... I don't even know if you realize this, but Donald Duck is a war veteran you're messing with. But in spite of that...
What does that have to do with anything?
Sandy gets a point. I think Sandy gets the point out of sheer creativity. And also, really, just in terms of the debate, I was hearing a lot against Frozone, a lot against the Genie, kind of back and forth arguments with each other. Sandy, I think this was a good strategy for you to kind of lay out a really compelling, really memorable opening argument, and then let the other two kind of eat each other. So that was, it was a rope-a-dope, Sandy, and I give you credit for that.
I have the same question that Dragon does. What does being a veteran have to do with anything, though?
Because think about it, you're essentially trolling a veteran into triggering his PTSD.
That's really cruel. So.
Yeah. But like I said, since no one actually brought it up during the debate,
he's a cartoon character. Come on.
Well, Sandy, I'm just saying, if someone would have brought up that fact during the debate, you wouldn't have won. But since no
Are you saying he would have been biased had he been a war veteran?
No, but I am saying that if you would have brought that up, it would have brought a whole nother level to the whole, like, oh, come on, that's kind of messed up. So I'm saying there were avenues that they could have explored for shooting down Donald that they didn't. And like I said, it was just like, I kept hearing a lot of negative stuff about the genie, a lot of negative stuff about Frozone. And the only thing in terms of like Sandy, he just has Sandy, like, you pitched what you wanted your New Year's Eve to be like. And I think specifically, like, no one really shot it down besides like, yeah, it's a little sadistic. Well, you know what, Sandy, if you want your New Year's Eve to be sadistic, by God, you made a good argument for it. So surprise, first round. Okay, guys, let me go ahead and screen share again, and we'll get into the second question of the night. The second question is, what is the best Disney movie released in 2016? Now, this has been a banner year for Disney. I mean, my God, like, outside of even their Disney and Pixar stuff, like the animated stuff, we have the Jungle Book remake, we have Rogue One, and 2 really good Marvel movies. We have even some of the smaller Disney movies that didn't really get much attention, I thought were really good. Stuff like the BFG. Dragon, you know what? There's one movie that I left out of my top movies of 2016 podcast we did a couple nights ago that I'm kicking myself for, that I just forgot to put on, and that's Pete's Dragon, which is a really, really damn good movie, too.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure we didn't talk about Pete's Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are you sure it's that good?
Yeah, I'm sure it's that good.
I'm saying trailers do not reflect well on it.
Like, if I were to rank it, it would honestly maybe crack my top 20 or at least top 25. It'd definitely be in the top half of my top 50. So
there's someone here with us, Tiki.
Oh, is that Sam? Oh my God.
You didn't see him make an entrance?
It's Sam! Sam, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Oh my God. So, folks, we have with us returning from a hiatus from the channel for a long time. Please welcome back Sam Magic!
Thank you guys so much.
Introduce us, Tiki.
Yeah, I don't know like who's done podcasts with who. I forget.
I think I've done one with BlueDragonFive before.
Probably.
Yeah, that's affirmative.
Okay, so Sam Magic is a member of WDW Magic. Me and him did Disney podcast back in the day, Imagineering podcast, and we are also going to be doing retrospectives on the Creator Games Season 2, Project Infinity. Yeah.
Yes, we will be, and I really enjoyed my time working with Tiki and working here. I kind of last year, just because of like school and family and stuff, I kind of had to take a long hiatus. It was a bit longer than I had originally liked, but I'm very excited to be back. And for the new year, it's a new year, and I'm excited.
All right, so Sam, is this just a brief pop-in, or do you want to stay and help guest judge, or what?
I would actually enjoy that. Yeah. So I'm gonna stay in. But,
all right, cool. Sounds like you got some chatter in the background.
I've got a lot of it. We've got a lot of family here, so you know.
I'm gonna be
doing me a favor then. Can you do me a favor? By all means, stay in, and you can help me guest judge. But when we're actually doing the arguments, can you mute your mic so we don't get that background chatter?
Yeah, of course.
That'd be great.
I'm gonna exit out real quick because I think I'm having connection trouble.
No,
we can hear you.
I'm gonna leave it on my phone. My phone will be fine.
Okay, well, quick.
All right, I'll be right in.
Oh boy. All right, so yeah, Sam, stoked to be talking with you again. You and I had a great rapport going on.
Yes, we did, and it was a lot of fun. And it's very nice to be back.
Okay, and the one time you did do this whole Dan Murrell kind of guest judge thing on Disney Debates, it worked out really well, so I'm excited about this.
When was that?
Okay.
I must have not been there for that one, or I've been pretty much on almost all of them, right?
I believe that was a debate. Maybe it was like Space Mountain, Adventure Blue Dude, and maybe I want to say either BlueDragonFive or maybe Monorail Red was there. I don't know. Sam, do you remember?
I think it I definitely think space was here. I don't remember if Monorail Red was present or not. I want to say it was Space and BlueDragonFive.
Space, BlueDragonFive, Adventure Blue Dude. All right, sounds good.
All right,
Can you guys hear me?
when was
Yeah, I
that?
can hear you, Jacob. Oh God.
It would have been. I feel like it would have been maybe like spring of 2016.
Sounds about right.
Wow, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, guys. Okay, but Sam, great to have you back. Let's jump right into our first question. Sam, just to recap for you, we did the first New Year's Eve question. Who would you like to party with on New Year's Eve? Dragon took Frozone from The Incredibles. Jacob took the Genie from Aladdin. And Sandy had the very sadistic and inspired answer of essentially trolling Donald Duck on New Year's Eve. And I gave the point to Sandy basically out of pure creativity. So, all right. So, yeah.
Does it have to be a character, like a cartoon character? Or
Not
can it
necessarily.
Okay. I'm gonna say Carrie Fisher. Like that would just be fun.
Aww.
A lot of wishful drinking, right there. That would be a lot of fun.
I would also, in terms of like the live action realm, maybe Jack Sparrow. Give Jack Sparrow a bone, perhaps.
Maybe.
It wasn't clear how far our thing extended in terms of the
But
business.
why is the rum gone? The rum's not gone, Jack. We got plenty more rum. Yes, more rum. Happy New Year.
That would be. That actually would be. Honestly, I feel like Jack Sparrow would be a wonderful addition to any event. Honestly, any event that involves drinking, like tailgates,
Exactly.
birthday parties. I mean,
I would love to see him at something that didn't
children's
involve
first day of
drinking.
school.
Just see how he would react.
Jack Sparrow is like the poster child for alcoholism for Disney.
Perhaps we can get back on target.
Yeah. Okay, so Sam, this is actually a more serious question. It is in a year of really good movies released from the Disney studio. What is the best Disney movie released in 2016? So we have our order laid out where you have Jacob is going to go first on this one, followed by Dragon, followed by Sandy. We're going to give it. What?
I went first last time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sandy followed by. Let's see. Sandy followed by Dragon, followed by Jacob. I'm sorry, Jacob. Okay, we're going to do that, and then they each get an opening statement that's going to be a minute, and then we do a free-form debate, and then followed by a closing statement of 30 seconds. So Sam, if you want to just, like I said, like you already have it muted, but keep your mic muted for the time being, and then I'll ask you on to, to give a guest judging opinion, like a second opinion on these debates after you're done. So you're here to kind of listen and observe, my friend. All right. So without further ado, Sandy, what is the best Disney movie of 2016? Time starts whenever you start talking.
All right, so for this one, I chose Zootopia, and I think it has a lot of meaning behind it. I think it, a lot of Disney movies, as of late, most of them do have some form of moral or meaning behind them, as most do. But Zootopia, I think, is different because it deals a lot with the issue of racism, even though it's not as heavy. Of course, it shouldn't be anyways. It has some great aspects of mystery and great character building, and pretty misleading writing is as far as the twist goes. They pulled that off pretty well for me. There's a lot of variety to it in color, and it's really well directed. The music is great. I think it ties itself together nicely as a really great film. I think it did that better than, say, something like The Jungle Book did, or Moana especially.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm sorry. Okay. So let's see. Now we have Dragon. Time starts whenever you start talking, as always.
"2016 marked a momentous event. Finding Nemo got a sequel. Not just a sequel, but a sequel made with a good story to tell that advances character and remains true to the themes and heart of Nemo. That film is Finding Dory, a tale of our favorite supporting fish going on a journey to find her parents, and along the way, Find yourself. This film had everything going against it. It was like one of the most forced sequel opportunities. The famous joke of like, oh, what are they going to do? Find Nemo 2? Oh, what's it going to be? Nemo gets lost again?
Oh, that would be Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage.
Now put to shame. Now that all that's put to shame. Turned out Gray continued to continue the story of Nemo. Answered the lingering question of what's next for Dory. How will she get home? Like, is she going to be okay post the events of Finding Nemo with the short-term memory loss? We get new entertaining characters, all flawed and imperfect, but cool and likable and tying in the door.
Okay, you got 1 extra second there, so I'm giving that 1 extra second to Jacob. Okay, I'm sorry, just being specific. Okay, Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Okay. I chose Moana. Well, I'm going with Moana. I'm going with Moana because it's actually it speaks to me a lot on a personal level. The animation itself is just gorgeous. While Zootopia had the beauty and the actual sets, it's the actual city. And Moana showed the beauty of the ocean and the island environments. The characters were all fleshed out and 3-dimensional. The soundtrack is very catchy and amazing. The story captivating and gripping. It can get serious when it wants to. It can be fun when it wants to. It can be downright strange when it wants to be. I think you all know what I'm talking about there. But it's a very well-rounded, very well-paced, very, very well-made movie, and even has some very interesting action sequences. All around, very well-made movie.
Okay, fight it out, guys.
Well, first and foremost, all of our films here are good. Let me say this. Zootopia, not the best. It's got forced elements of, hey, let's world build with animals, but throw the modern day at it. It feels a lot like, hey, we're gonna pull from the old Disney well, let's just throw in the modern day. Let's take Fox and let's take Robin Hood and let's say Robin Hood and Wreck-It Ralph, meld them together. Let's throw.
Can I say something to you?
Sure.
Something, 48 hours with animals.
What was it? What with animals?
48 hours.
Oh, okay. All right.
Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte. So, anyway, so we have a lot of forced elements in Zootopia. That's kind of the crux of what I'm really saying here. So you get a lot of forced elements, not just of the world building and all that stuff, but I'm saying we also have the Shakira song that plays constantly. It's like, hey, we got Shakira, right? Because the kids, they love Shakira. And we got her. We got to really throw that. We really got to throw that one out there and have the one song. Yeah, we don't want to do a musical. Believe me, that's all well and good. You don't have to do a musical. Let's just take the one song. Let's just jam it down everyone's throat. Let's make it into let's just make it reoccur and make a big old kind of dance party at the very end of hey, we're all dancing to this one Shakira song.
All right, I'll give you that.
Dragon, I'm not going to use this against you at all because it's totally a personal thing, but I used to, when I first started working at the museum, I used to listen to that song every freaking day while going across the Golden Gate Bridge.
I know it's corny, but it's a good song. I have to say, but I kind of think that the point is good. It is a children's film, and it is Shakira. Children and Shakira do not connect in my mind.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring up that brief tangent.
Also, again, I think one of the most forced a really bad scene, regardless, in Zootopia is not bad. It's really forced, really painfully forced. We have to have the natural scene. Hey, what about the animals that don't wear clothes? And they're naturalists. And we have let's have Tommy Chong in there. I'm not taking points away from Tommy Chong necessarily. I'm not taking points away from weird pools necessarily. Again, Shakira's really out there. One Tommy Chong, another one. But let's just have a weird kind of a naturalist nudist cult of animals. So we just have this weird tangent. Okay, so apparently our main missing otter just happens to be a nudist on the side. We just don't really address that anywhere else. He does expose yoga here.
Okay. I haven't seen Finding Dory, so I can't really say whether I think the story is good or not. So just to put that out there, Tiki, don't take points away from me for not knowing that, not having seen the movie.
Noted.
Okay,
No, personally, as far as Finding Dory goes, you're right. It is a sequel to Finding Nemo, but it's just that it's almost all the exact same beats as Finding Nemo does.
I would disagree.
Exactly. Dory's it's a sequel, and it's nice. It's not original. I mean, Pixar's known for making original work, and Dory is not original. It's a sequel of Finding Nemo.
I disagree. It is an original sequel. It is continuing. Again, it's continuing the story. It's not hitting upon the same beats of the first one. And at any points in which they just we have Albert Brooks. Let me give you a point of what I'm saying. Albert Brooks on two things here. So Albert Brooks in his performance of Marlin in this film. One, it summarizes kind of the emotion of the journey in these key lines, which is really great in the trailers, but. At the same time, though, in the movie, we have these great bits of humor where she's like, I can't believe I'm doing this again. Am I insane for doing this? It's like, why does no one want to do the same thing here? So again, that's kind of the addressment of any, hey, we're going on another journey. That's pretty much the main similarity. Okay, we're going on another journey. But no, we have flashbacks that kind of give us Dory's back. It's Dory's story. It's not the father-son journey. We're hitting different beats. We're going to new locations. We're not around Australia. We're in California.
All right, well, either way, you can't ignore the fact that it's still a sequel, and it still has the same characters. It still has the same world.
You say sequel like it's a dirty word.
Well, no, but I'm just saying Pixar is not known for making sequels.
Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, ringing any bells?
Yeah, okay, but I'm saying the wider majority here. Zootopia, it's all around original. There's, of course, Disney has made talking animal movies before, but I feel it features a more engaging story than something like Moana or Jungle Book. And what was Jacob's again?
Let's talk about Moana. Yeah. That's Jacob's pick. So
okay,
Moana,
yeah.
Moana, were you going to say something, Dragon?
Yeah, I was going to kind of start us in from Moana, then you picked the let me say this. Moana, for me, personally, was definitely the letdown this year, comparatively, of the three we're talking about right now.
Yes, I feel
Moana was definitely the letdown for me this year. I mean, people were talking up the... I'm going to make some harsh comments here. Again, just for the debate, I guess. So, we're talking... I think a lot of people are talking up Lin-Manuel Miranda a lot, and I think it's a lot of this coming from Hamilton, of like, hey, he did this really popular thing. Here's a lot of Hamilton fans, especially, are coming to... are flooding the theaters to see Moana, and we gotta check this out. And Moana does have a lot of serious crippling problems. Well, again, not crippling, serious limping problems. That's probably the better statement there. What do you got, Sandy?
I feel the story. I think the whole
first act very slow.
Yeah, and I feel just the overall story. I think it follows the hero's journey, just the whole story thing way too much. And the environments are nice, but Jacobs had made that point earlier. But that's not all you need to make a good story. And of course, animation is not all you need. You need a good story that drives and it's engaging. I feel Moana is most of the time it's pretty it's pretty one note, and I feel
it's a lot of style over substance in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And the story is nice. It's okay. The characters are pretty great, but
let Jacob talk.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry.
You're making assumptions with the music, though. Like, you're acting as if, you applied that to others. But me, personally, I didn't really follow Lin-Manuel Miranda that much. And I haven't really listened to that much of Hamilton. So that really had no effect on my opinion of the movie for me.
Yeah, same here, Jacob. I had no idea who the guy was either. And I went into the movie completely blind as far as music goes.
Like I said, so that kind of argument has nothing to do with what I said. And I said, I disagree about the characters. I mean, the characters of Moana, she's a very well written character. Maui, he's outrageous, bombastic. They fits well with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. These are very three-dimensional, well-rounded characters.
I know,
and
I said they were great. They were great. I'm talking about the story here, which is
it's a movie on two characters and a chicken. Really, that's we still need a story there.
It is, and they're basically they're out in the ocean the entire time, and that's I feel where it doesn't do much for me because. Oh God.
That's why I say that's one thing I think makes the story impressive. Like it's these two characters on the ocean, and like it's the journey itself that makes it impressive. Like how they're able to carry this story.
I think the journey
I
needs
know.
to be a little bit more clear. I'm sorry, Sandy.
Oh, I know you're following up on what Jacob was saying. I'm going on something else.
No,
And we're talking about how stories go. Zootopia, like I said, it's basically 48 hours with animals, with just a bit of racism mixed in. Like it hits a lot of familiar beats, like, oh, they're not friends anymore. Oh, they're suddenly friends again.
Okay, well, Moana
that is a sticking
his
point.
journey turned out again, so there's that too.
What?
And I think the thing of Moana is, again, we need, like, the beginning is really vague with all the islands. Like, the importance of the island seems to be a big thing, especially by the end, and we really don't get enough of, like, why is this island so important? Aside from, look, it looks cool. We don't really spend a lot of time saying, this island's super special, and everything's just kind of, okay, Maui steals the thing at the beginning, and by the end, I won't get into too specifics. I mean, it's kind of recent, but again, like, hey, the island's just kind of this beautiful, important thing, and just there's some message here, but we're not getting the full message because we don't know why the journey started in the first place. Except
and
people
Jacob,
might die.
And Jacob, you really can't say anything about Zootopia if you're going with Moana because it's this story of, this girl who has duties at her home, but she doesn't want to do that. She has some other calling, and she runs away, and it's these same beats that many other movies have already hit time after time, and that's where Moana falls flat for me. It's just tiring. The story has been done before, and it's been done more than something like what Zootopia did, which hasn't been done as much.
This has been done a lot before, though. I mean, a lot of these stories actually share these similar beats. I mean, that's what you guys are missing. The stories are actually very similar in a way.
What do you mean?
I mean, look at Judy Hopps. She went away from home. She did her dream. She didn't exactly run away. I mean, neither did Moana. She had to go because her grandmother wanted her to go.
Yeah, Moana ran away. I mean,
I don't see, but she did. She had her reasons. She wasn't. It's not like it was a selfish reason to, though.
There's a lot of Little Mermaid in your first act, Jacob. There's a lot of Little Mermaid, like the King Triton type, like, no, you must never go, Ariel. In this case, no, Moana, you must never leave the weird kind of the tide thing, the little tide barrier.
I need to hear more.
And I honestly could go on Moana forever, but I think
no, Dory, you shouldn't go out there.
Hold on. I need to hear some more stuff against Zootopia.
Now, let me say this about Zootopia. Zootopia suffers from really...
As I think, no, Dory, you can't go out there. No, Judy, you shouldn't become a police officer.
There's a lot of negative parenting in Zootopia, and also I think you have a really forced shift in Act 3. We kind of really shift, it's kind of a choppy shift into prejudice and Judy resigning. That is really a movie turns in like, we have, Act 1 and Act 2, mainly Act 2, we get to the whole, okay, so Judy's accomplished everything. The movie should, in theory, be over, but then we have to still fill screen time. We have to tell this other story here, and it feels like, okay, yeah, we're tacking this on so we can just, tell more story here, and just like, okay, well, let's squeeze a little bit more out of this orange here, just squeeze, and hey, let's mandate some relevancy. Let's just squeeze the orange of relevancy. What's an issue we're kind of dealing with today?
Oh God.
And it's kind of hypocritical in a way, slightly hypocritical. And it stereotypes animals. Think about it, Nick's people.
You have anything against Zootopia, Jacob?
Right, pretty much all the points they've leveled up against you. Like I said, you're pulling up against the points of unsupportive parents. Like her parents are like completely unsupportive. Like, no, you shouldn't follow these dreams. You should just settle hard and just do what you do best.
I know, but they don't yell at her that she needs to stay home and stay put and not go follow her dreams.
They're very passive aggressive though, saying, "Oh, they don't like." Either they don't get, or they're just really like, "Hey, give one your dreams. It'd be awesome."
I know, but Moana's dad, I forget what his name is, Chief something. But, he's like full on King Triton. I mean, as you said before, he's yelling. He means it. Judy's parents, I mean, they wave her goodbye and they hug her and they call her up. I mean, they're nice about it.
On the other hand, Dory's parents are just like a great tragic example. These are parents that are raising a kid who has basically kind of an impairment. You have this really excellent scene in Dory where it's like they're really just crying with Dory kind of listening in over top of this thing, crying like they don't know what they're going to do to raise this kid. They're fearing that she's going to grow unable to take care of herself, which is a real. Every parent has that worry, and I love that they capture that. It's the heart of Finding Dory. Really captures the emotion of things. Really captures. It's so real world in these little day-to-day elements. I mean, they capture loss and loneliness so realistically. It's amazing the emotions that movie makes you feel.
All right, guys. I need a couple arguments against Finding Dory, and then we'll move on to final thoughts.
All right. Well, I haven't seen Finding Dory, so I can't really make any big judgments like I can in Moana because I've seen that one already. I said this before already, but I'll say it again. It's a sequel, and it's not. Even though I don't particularly like Moana, I think it's better in the behalf that it's original. It's not just milking off something that's already been done before. And
I'm telling you, I'm sorry.
I know, I know, and I'll have to go see it now. But
if we're going down the whole predictable route, I mean, like we knew what was going to happen at the end. Like we knew she was going to find her parents anyway. I mean, that much
not necessarily.
Kind of
they throw a few curveballs at you. A really big, really well executed curveball of like, oh my God, have they gone this route? And they play it so realistically, you have to kind of question as an audience member.
I just think it's fun.
Go ahead, Jacob, if you want to get one final thought in there. Really quick.
Me?
I guess not. I guess it's not that important.
All right.
Okay, so final thoughts, guys. You'll have 30 seconds apiece. Let me pull up the screen share really quick, and we will start with Sandy. Okay. Sandy, whenever you're ready.
Again, it has a lot of meaning behind it, and it has a lot of variety, has a lot of color, it has some great environments and great characters. And I wouldn't mind seeing these characters in a sequel. I'm sure Disney won't hesitate some time in the future, whether that's near or far. I don't think they've announced anything yet, but I think it's brilliantly made, and I think it pulls far ahead of Moana for me. And it pulls up right next to Jungle Book, but maybe a little farther. Just because of the execution of everything and the story.
Okay. Let's see. We have Dragon. Whenever you're ready. 30 seconds.
Neither of these films compare to the heart and emotion of Dory. The well-structured flashbacks that break your heart and make you want this family reunited, the spectacular visuals, the high-quality animation, and then the great funny dynamics you have with characters like Hank. I mean, the other films I can watch now and again, but Dory's a rewatchable film of this really good experience that shouldn't have worked for any reason, but it did so well. I mean, even Andrew Stan didn't think a sequel would work, and he was surprised by his whole view on sequels has been changed by, well, if there's storytelling, you can.
Okay, finally, Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Now, what you guys? I have to disagree with some of you guys. But I think Moana actually combines both elements very well. Well-rounded characters, beautiful environments, an emotionally gripping story, and everything. Like I said, this film connected me like on a personal level. Like I really like the whole spirituality behind some of the elements of it. The whole mythology and the original story was gripping and excellent. The characters, I mean, the water and the animation looks gorgeous. It was overall, and everything looks perfect.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll have to do a deliberation. Sam, I'm leaning a particular way, but I want to hear your thoughts really quick.
Okay. So I made a bunch of notes while I
Oh, geez. that's exactly why I wanted Sam as a guest judge. By the way.
Finally, someone else with notes.
when you do debate for 4 years. All right. I think you guys. The one common theme that I kind of chuckled to myself about the whole time. Every single one of you all said, it has great animation, beautiful graphics. I think Disney has kind of reached a point where the animation is just so amazing and so breathtaking. The points raised on Moana were good, both in both pro and con. But I think I kind of agree with more of the con arguments of Moana. With there's not enough of a story. To me, it kind of seemed like Disney took Pocahontas, Tangled, and Ariel and kind of, mashed it together and sent it on a vacation to Hawaii. And it's a beautiful film, I think, but I think honestly, and I was surprised no one raised this, although it was kind of raised, Moana's biggest problem, in my opinion, is the music. The songs are great to listen to, but I think in order to be an effective Disney musical, you have to be able to walk out of that theater, with the songs memorized, the songs kind of stuck in your head. And Lin-Manuel Miranda is great at making songs that sound really good, but I've been to Hamilton, I've heard the music multiple times. Like, I cannot recall a damn song to save my life from it. And I do musical theater. So,
shots fired. You're not throwing away your shot.
Yeah. So I think that the only memorable song for me from Moana was the You're Welcome song, where, the whole world found out The Rock can sing. Because, why can't he? He is The Rock. But now for Dory. So I wish we could have seen more con arguments on Dory.
I agree.
Because I think that Dory definitely has some problems. And I think Dory's problem is that it reminds me a lot of kind of like Toy Story 2 and like the Toy Story films, in the sense of like they lose, like, Andy is Dory's parents, they've been lost, and now, Dory has to go and find her parents. And though it is a continuation and it can kind of stand alone as its own film, which I think is an important part of a sequel, I think Finding Dory does kind of follow Pixar's problem of the same kind of basic plot line of other Pixar sequels. Zootopia, I agreed with the con that there were a lot of parts that were forced.
Mm-hmm. That was a good argument. Yeah,
that was a very good argument. I think Zootopia's problem is that it's kind of like it's like a college art student that minored in American racial studies had to create his final project, and he couldn't get enough live actors for it, so he decided to go the animation route. And so he's trying to make a very artistic and layered film, and out comes Zootopia. I think it was for me, in American history, we were doing the racism unit around the same time that Zootopia came out. Okay. And living in the South and doing the way that our racism unit was taught, my mind was blown. And then watching Zootopia, it all kind of I have a personal connection to Zootopia for that reason. But I think that Zootopia does have its problems in terms of really, if the story, it's like it couldn't figure out what kind of story it wanted to tell. Did it want to tell the story of female empowerment and you can be anything you wish to be? Or is it trying to tell the story of racism in modern society? And then my larger question for Zootopia is, were the filmmakers trying to show that both of these questions, both of these challenges are connected to one another? That, so it's a layered film. It's a layered, oh no, it's fine. It's a layered film, but I feel that it could have done a better job of peeling open that onion than it did. And I think that at points they kind of forced it to not be so layered, and then they forced it to be a little too layered. And yeah, it was kind of like kind of like the stock market, like up and down, up and down.
Tiki, can I say something really quick here?
I guess, but I mean,
I think those 2 points, those two, I guess quote unquote possible story routes, I think they do link together in the sense that the whole female empowerment thing, she can't be a cop, or she's told that because of this type of racism that's going on in their world, where people, the other animals, they're all ranked, and oh, you're a bunny, so you can't do this job of a bigger animal.
well, let me kind of tell you guys where I'm leaning here. Overall, I think Zootopia was kind of like it was definitely the answer, where it was more of an uphill battle against it. But having said that, I do think I heard a lot of compelling arguments against Zootopia.
I agreed. One of the pros was like, I think Zootopia, for everything that was wrong with it, I think it made up in the originality of it.
Yeah, but whereas with strictly from what we heard in the context of the debate, really, all I kept hearing with Finding Dory is like, oh, it's unoriginal. It recycles some elements, and Sandy, I understand you haven't watched that, and I'm not holding that against you at all. It's fine. It's like, really, at the end of the day, you're not wrong in terms of that's why the film didn't crack my top 20 of the year. But having said that, in spite of Moana and Zootopia getting into my top 10, and Finding Dory in my top 25, Sam, I don't know if you're leaning this way or not, but I think I have to give the point to Dragon for Dory.
Okay. Yeah.
Sam, I'm not sure if you're exactly on the same page as me, but that's fine.
What?
I said I'm not sure if you're exactly on the same page with me on that pick or not.
I think that with all the films that were chosen, of them, I think this is like the point for like which one wins the argument, right?
Yeah, this is all about like what they said. Yeah.
Then I think definitely the best argument was made for Finding Dory.
Okay.
To be the best film.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, now comes the one that I am like dreading, because of course, I've put in over 100 volunteer hours at the Walt Disney Family Museum. I love me some Walt. Oh God, and this is going to be literally like a Sophie's Choice for me, but let's get it over with. What is the most inspirational Walt Disney quote of all time? That was great on Sam's facial reaction. Right, Sam.
That noise really doesn't inspire much.
Sam, if you can mute your mic.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, let me go ahead and screen share this puppy. Let's see. So,
Sandy, listen, real quick, we're going to try to do like an impression of the quote when we do it in the opening statement. So, I don't know if you're pretty.
Timer's still.
I know.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we were kind of hoping that you would do, along with us, we were doing kind of a Walt impersonation of our quote that we've chosen.
Keep in mind, work that into your opening statement. It's not going to be your whole opening statement.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Are
you your impersonation of Walt, like a voice?
I mean, look, this is just Dragon's idea more than it is mine.
I'm just saying, like, just to make it a little special. That's all. It's not like you have to make it like an Oscar-worthy thing. It's like, well,
I'm not gonna like judge you if you can't do a good one.
It's not be kind of nice.
I don't know what he sounds like.
I think it would be very if someone can do a Walt impression while reading their quote, I think that would be very enjoyable.
Okay,
well, I don't know how they would do that. I mean, does he have some like definable?
Guys, voice? I don't want to get hung up on the technicalities of this.
I'll do it.
Yeah, Dragon, please do it by all means. I'm just not sure how that would work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dragon, speaking of which, you go first this round, followed by Jacob, then Sandy. Go ahead. You have a minute.
My quote's from the ending of the Pixar story. When planning a new picture, we don't think of grown-ups, we don't think of children. But just so that fine, clean, unspoiled spot down deep in every one of us, that maybe the world has made us forget, and that maybe our pictures can help recall. I think that's the most inspirational Walt Disney quote. I think it is really the way it makes you feel. It fills me with an inspiration. It inspires film lovers and makers out there. They saved it till the very end of the Pixar story for a very specific reason, because that's the most inspiring note you can go out on. It fuels the goal that we all have to create and have creations loved and make a difference in the world. I mean, I think Jim Henson could also, with another quote, that would play that. He just wants to leave the world a little better than he left it. That's kind of what we all want to do. All stemming from Disney there. All stemming from Disney. Yep.
Okay, we go to Jacob. Whenever you're ready.
If you can dream it, you can do it. That is the quote I have chosen, and it's one I personally live by, and I even have a little placard of it on my desk. It's a quote that I think that sure it applies to Walt himself and the whole entire Disney company as a whole, but I think it can apply to more than just filmmaking. Like if you want to achieve your job, you can just dream, and if you work hard, back it up with work, you can dream it, and you can do it. Like, it really speaks to the dreamer deep down in all of us. Like, Walt, among all things, was a dreamer. And look where his dreams got him. Not that everybody will become the founder or multimedia conglomerate, but it speaks to the dreamer inside all of us. It drives inspiration. It's like, it goes beyond filmmaking. Like, you can fulfill your wildest dreams, and you just have to follow it and do it. Like, nothing beyond imagination.
Okay, Sandy, whenever you're ready.
Okay. You reach a point where you don't work for money. I chose this one because it's so true. When you're doing something you love and you have a driving passion for it, there comes a point, and maybe there always was one, where you don't work for money. You do it simply for the joy of it. With Walt, of course, that was entertaining people, creating worlds and characters, and the best part about it is, it can apply to anyone, not just one person who likes. Not someone like Walt who likes doing what he famously did, but it can apply to anyone, whether you're frying chicken or something. It doesn't matter. If you reach a point where you don't just do it for money, you do it for the enjoyment of it. And I think that's incredibly powerful, and it holds a lot of impact. Nick and I. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay, guys, just to shorthand these so we don't have to say the whole quote when you're talking about them. We have the Pixar story quote, we have the dream it, do it quote, and we have the work for money quote. So fight it out.
Not working for money quote.
Okay, not working for money.
Don't work for money. Don't work for money quote.
Okay, good distinction. Not working for money quote. I'm sorry.
It's kind of a biggie.
I know it's one word, but it makes a lot of difference. That's my.
Okay, let's see. So, are we good now?
Yeah, fight it out. Just tear apart the inspirational words of Walt Disney.
I felt so bad about tearing.
I want to hear you guys really go at it with this one. I want to hear some really harsh things to say about the opposition here.
You ready for it, man?
Oh God, yeah, I am. I'm ready for it.
I'll go at it with a screwdriver, man. I'll do it.
Go for it.
So.
Oh, God.
When you get to the point where you don't work for money, good for Walt, not for the rest of us. We all can't have that luxury. It's not an original quote either. It's kind of it feels very generic. It feels less kind of Walt specific. And it's the American dream plus in a way. It's kind of the success story of the American dream. It's not exact. That doesn't really feel that.
That's honestly how I feel about Jacobs, in all honesty here.
Okay.
We're not going to bring that one up as having the same fault?
Well, in different words, but yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Let's get to Jake's for a minute. Jacob's, the only problem with yours is it's nice, as you said. It's on a nice plaque. And who doesn't like to look at that? I mean, again, who doesn't like to look at that? Problem being, it's very impractical. I mean, from experience, and I can tell you this, from experience, it has not always been true. You know, you can dream things. I've dreamt many things. I cannot do everything. I'm just not saying like you dream like wild, fanciful things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
I've
even
had
if you have a
dreams
simple.
about visiting Walt Disney World, and I have not yet visited Walt Disney World.
Exactly. I'm saying I'm not talking about like wild, like fantasies of like going to the moon or anything. I'm saying just very simple things. So, like if we can dream like just accomplishing a goal. Sometimes we can't accomplish that goal. Sometimes we can't go to Disney World. Sometimes we can't get Captain America a little shout out video.
Yeah, like one time I had a dream my foot stretch a mile long. I can't do that.
I'm sorry, Sandy was saying.
One time I had a dream my leg could stretch a mile long, and it can't do that in reality. So
Jacob, you were saying.
You gotta taking it way too literally here.
No, I'm saying even not taking it literally. It's just the whole if you can dream it, you can do it. Again, I'm not saying if you can dream anything. I'm saying if you can even just simple goals. I think it's saying, hey, you can if you want to do something, go get it, man. I'm saying no. I want a lot of things. I can't go get it. I mean, it's literally nothing was feasible. Your quote in itself is just it's unachievable. Sometimes it's like it's rarely achievable.
And sure, it sounds good, but it's not very practical.
The quote's all about trying. It's like continue trying. It goes like with this keep moving forward quote. It's all about trying and going forward with your dreams, like trying to achieve them. Like sure, you might not achieve them, but you can at least try.
No, it sounds like Disney speaking from experience of, hey, I dreamed it and I did it. Why can't you? There's no try in this. There's no try or fail. It's like, hey, do it.
What about all the times they tried to reach? What about the times they tried to reach all the special center inside all of us and completely bombed? It's like how do you do? Like you can't find one universal thing that appeals to everybody. It's like I'm not talking about impractical. I mean, you can't just do one thing, do these things, and find something for everybody. And as for working for money, I mean, like, it's not a luxury everybody has. Like Dragon said, I mean, like, they have to work for our money. I mean, like, you can't just do whatever you want. I mean, you have to do a lot of hard work to get to that money, I'm sure. And I know Walt did, actually. He did a lot of hard work to get to where he is. But at that point, he got basically to a point where he could just watch people draw and basically make money off of it.
See, Sandy, here's my problem with yours, is that, again, I think all of our saying is kind of nice and flowery in some way or another, but, again, here, yours sounds more factual than inspirational. I mean, I envy Disney, but again, it doesn't really inspire me to strive to be richer. I mean, again, I could try, but not everyone's going to be a rich man in this life. We've seen some bad people who are rich. We've seen some good people who are rich.
So what you're saying is your inspiration is to get rich.
That's what it sounds. I don't want. I'm just saying, based on this quote, it says, you get to a point where we don't worry for money. I'm sorry, we don't worry.
I thought that's what you were saying. Your inspiration.
But Sandy's whole thing is that it's like if you don't do it for money, just do it for the fact that you love it. That's his thing.
Yeah, and that doesn't go for every job. Like I work at a grocery store. That's I'm never gonna get to a point where I do that just because I love it, because I don't love it at all.
I'm saying, fun.
Can I just throw out the fact that I volunteer at the Disney Family Museum and I do it specifically because I love it and I don't
exactly.
Well, I'm saying your quote's kind of moot then, isn't it? Because people work for the love of art with no promise of financial security, or the other way around. People have to earn a paycheck, and it's going to be. You
get to a point where you're still making money, but that's not why you do it.
Can I
hold on? Sam has a point. Go ahead.
Add in? So I work at our downtown, like it's like this big art complex downtown that we have, and I work there not because I'm paid a lot to work there, but because I love to work there, and I love to like see the people there.
Exactly. See, Dragon.
Well, it's a promise. He's giving you a promise. If you get to a point where you don't work for money. And again, I think we could.
It's not that hard to find a volunteer position that you could be passionate about.
I worked at a tune museum in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly.
I volunteered there.
Well, I think like volunteering, like you're not paid to volunteer, and I think like
No, but I volunteered.
Sandy's quote is
volunteered.
more like money. Like
I mean,
you do something because you love it, but you're still paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like your money.
I'm saying, can you get to a point where you don't need to
Dragon,
worry?
wait, Dragon, what exactly was your quote? Like the short version of it?
All right, I'm sorry. Is that a dig or is that just a question?
That's a question.
Well, does that-
I just want to make sure, okay? Because if there's a dig, I have a defense. Because again, we weren't. There was no limit on like the length, okay? But look, mine's very simple. It's
all I was asking.
Greg, did you realize that you basically just pointed out the flaw in yours, right?
it's not a flaw. Narrative is not a flaw. It's most inspiration.
No,
Okay.
I'm saying you're calling attention to the fact that it's more long-winded than the other two,
and that doesn't matter. And the long-windedness does not matter.
I'm just pointing out that you're calling attention to it. All right.
When planning a new picture, we don't. Basically, we make movies for everyone. That's what mine boils down. We make movies for everyone. That's like in my the end goal is to make movies for everyone. It's an eloquent way of telling. It's also very telling of how Walt had this humble desire to have films for everyone that you can watch and enjoy. Again, it's kind of what we're living now with movies like Zootopia and Finding Dory. It's like movies parents and children get a voice. It's not made for one specific audience. It's made for movies for everyone. And that's shaped Pixar and Disney today. That's what I'm saying. That's inspiring. Like, man, it's just such a humble. Like, Disney just had this really simple thing. We all just want to create things and have it enjoy and just have everyone enjoy it. So again, it's like improving the world in some way by this little unspoiled stuff. Like, hey, there's this little thing everyone can love.
Yeah, but don't you think John Lasseter ever got to a point where he worked for the pure enjoyment of it, of what he does, not just for money? I mean, he still gets paid, of course. I mean, he's probably super rich, but it's not his motivation. His motivation is not getting more money. His motivation is going and making people happy.
I'm saying that's a promise of something that might never come. It's not exactly inspirational. I'm not saying where that's inspirational. It's like, okay, good for Disney. It's factual. He got to a point where that's a guarantee of right. It's not like inspiring me to get to that point. That's nice, but that's not exactly inspiring.
Talking in the sense that you already are working in a place where you're working for something that you love, not just for money. Like
I'm saying that's envy. That's not inspiration. That's like that'd be nice. It'd be nice to live that way. But again,
the beholder.
It doesn't make me want to, especially I'm sorry, Jay. No.
That was the eye. That's basically in the eye of the beholder. You might see envy. You might see. I don't.
I'm saying it's too vague. It's too generic.
My quote, I think, encompasses it's short but sweet. It can encompass pretty much anything. Like you can accomplish, you can at least try to accomplish anything you put your mind to. Like you can, why give up on your dreams?
That's uplifting. It's not inspirational. It's like, okay, that's a nice thought. Again, it's not really. It's not getting the inspiration from that. If you can dream it, you can do it. That's an opinion. That's not like okay, here's like something the man said, a quote that inspires people. Mine's a quote of like, okay, he said this. It gives you that kind of that like I would like to do what he's putting out there.
Could you put it in the chat? Dragging the quote. Okay, I can't remember all of it.
Well, again,
that's another thing. You should be able. That's another thing. You should be able to remember quotes. You shouldn't have to go look them up. You should be able to remember them by memory.
Oh,
I can remember my quote.
Oh yeah, but we can't, and that's what's important. Tiki, can you remember his quote?
Honestly,
I started.
Come on, he's not a good barometer on that sort of thing. Come on.
Honestly,
I started to write down Dragon's quote, and it goes: "When planning, we don't think of kids or family." And then there was a bunch of words, and I just wrote, "We think of humanity."
Okay. So hold on. Let's get into the final thoughts really quick. Oh god, guys, that was brutal.
That's probably the best. I think it was the most brutal, but I think it was the most fun out of all.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Okay, so let's see. So we have, I believe Sandy's going first on this one. Or no, I'm sorry, Jake. Dragon. Dragon is going first.
See what I mean about the memory?
All right, go ahead, Dragon. Whenever you're ready.
Look, your quotes make me appreciate Walt's success and optimism. But mine lays out one man's dream and a goal we can all strive for, and gives you that feeling, it gives you that feel-good reminder that, you know, we know why he does it. Maybe I could do that too. It gives you an inspirational feeling. The other ones don't give you that feeling. The other one's just like, hey, if you can dream it, you can do it. It's like a man talking like, hey, look at how successful I am. Why can't you do what I do? Huh?
Oh God.
Again, it's more of like a little like, I'm going to put on play because I've earned the success. You can't measure up to the success.
Oh, we are just flat out taking down the man's character at this point. Okay, let's see. So we have Jacob, whenever you're ready.
I have to respectfully disagree with you, Dragon. I mean, like, I don't. It's not like I don't see anywhere in I can dream it, I can do it as like I achieved this success, so can you. But like I said, it's basically the importance of following your dreams. Like it's like saying, yeah, you can do it if you can do anything you put your mind to. Like it doesn't matter if you become successful or not. I mean, your quote is just like, yeah, I make movies for a living and I try to make things that appeal to everybody. And the working for money, I mean, and working with money is like, I started ruining me there.
Sorry. That's why you have to use your time economically. Okay, Sandy, whenever you're ready, 30 seconds.
All right. You reach a point where you don't work for money. And just think about that, you know. You know, again, one of the best parts about this is you can apply to anyone, and not just the people doing what he did, but anyone doing anything. And for me, I love making short films, and I've never made a dime off anything I make. I do it because I love it, and I work for money so I can use it to do what I love, which is, you know, making short films and videos and things. And I think
Sorry,
That's
the
great.
rules.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, I actually have a pretty clear winner here, but I want to hear from Sam first.
So I'll try to stick straight to just like how things were argued. I learned two big things. The first was that Dragon is very good at writing speeches, and the second is Dragon's not a very optimistic person. I'm kidding.
That's so weird. Usually I'm the optimist. That's the thing. Usually I'm the optimist. I'm taking out getting the
No, I can attest to that. Yeah, Dragon is definitely the optimist.
Again, it's all for the debates, folks. It's all for the debates. All right.
I think that so the point that was raised that was work for money is too American, because I was raised, and the luxury. Like I definitely get where Dragon is coming from when he's raising that. With on both sides, on both the dream it, do it, and the work for money. That feeling like, well, of course you can say that. You are a multimillionaire who owns 3 houses and owns a multi-billion-dollar international entertainment company.
Owns a train in your backyard.
Yeah. Owns
literally
owns literally an amusement park in suburban Los Angeles. So of course you can say that, but I think that that the work for money quote, I think that's a very literalistic way of looking at the dream it, do it, and the work for money quotes. I think that looking at them as like, you know, Walt saying, well, I mean, you know, you should reach a point where you don't work for the money. I think that the point of these quotes of dream it, do it, and work for money is Walt's kind of saying, you know, you should do something because you love it, not because you're going to make a lot of money from it, but because you love to do that thing.
Yeah.
And like personally, like I want to go into international politics. My parents don't think that I'm going to make any money from it, and I probably won't make any money from it, but I want to do it because I love doing it, and I want to enjoy what I do. For the Dream It, Do It, I think that the point that was raised that it's too simplistic. I think that has some merit. As for the Pixar one, the idea of it being long-winded, yeah, it was pretty long.
I mean, I think Sandy did make a really good, like, on-the-nose point, like a well-timed argument for that.
Yeah, it's a very, kind of like my review, it's just very long-winded. And now I do think that Dragon raised an interesting point on it, saying that it did shape the company.
I wanted to hear more about that, though.
I think, yeah, I did too. I wanted more elaboration on that, and I also wanted more elaboration on the point that was raised that it was like too movie centric. That it can't really, like the other quotes, they can kind of break out of the realm of the entertainment industry, but Dragon's quote is very kind of locked in. I would have liked to see more elaboration on that point.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and rule it here because, simply put, throughout the process of the conversation, like literally, we all could like list examples of being inspired through Sandy's point. So I have to give the point to Sandy because I think each one of us here has an example of something in their life they're striving to do, not for money, but because they love doing it. I mean, why the hell are we on this dorky little YouTube channel together? It only has 500 subscribers. It's probably never going to get more than like, you know, a couple thousand subscribers at the most. We're not going to ever make any money off this. We do it because we love it. So, all right.
I think I would have actually kind of tied it between Dream It, Do It, and Work for Money. I mean, I don't know if we can do that.
I heard more good thing like Dream It, Do It. I do think the simplicity argument kind of worked against it because essentially what it is it's a bumper sticker quote.
Yeah, it's like a campaign slogan.
Yeah, which that's not a bad thing, but I think with Sandy, it just like in terms of inspirational, it just like applies to a lot of different people, especially dorky people like us who are in a very kind of niche interest field like animation and Disney, all that. I definitely think that out of the three, and I think the conversation kind of like just naturally flowed like that. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so to recap, we have Sandy with 2 points, Dragon with 1 point. Jacob, you're still on the board though because you still have 2 more points you could possibly get. So you could even tie it with Sandy if you work hard. All right, so here we go. This is going to be a tricky one, but we're going to try and do it. Now, in light of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, I want you guys to pitch your own Star Wars story, but not just any Star Wars story. I want you guys to pitch a true Star Wars story. What do I mean by that? Well, round 4 is... Oh, God. Hold on, I need to stop the clock. Wow, that killed the tension. Round 4 is pitch a Star Wars documentary.
A documentary?
Yeah.
Star Wars documentary. All right, go ahead and mute your mic, Sam, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Cool. All right, I believe we have circled back around to Jacob starting first. Sounds about right. No one's questioning me on it, so. All right, Jacob, whenever you're ready. You have Okay, hold on here.
There's no timeline on the pitch. It's just like
that's actually true. So we're not going to have time limits on the pitches, but just kind of for initial thoughts. Jacob, just whenever you're ready to go.
Now, we all know how Star Wars basically revolutionized special effects, right? But then I'd like to take a look a bit deeper into that. Like the impact that Star Wars had on the movie industry is enormous, and part of it is to do with its groundbreaking special effects, especially for its time, and even continuing into this day. Like, the effects from it are felt to this day, and even the new sequels are continuing to embrace its practicality and push it to new levels. I'd like to see more of the people, even though know certain things like how the crawl was made and things like that, but I'd like to actually see more behind the scenes look and the special, like how the special effects, like how they all banded together, like how they worked through this absurd story to create these effects, like to pull it all together to make this strange, crazy sci-fi world come together and become one of the biggest movie franchises of all time. Like go into like the behind the scenes, like how like the Phil Tippett Studios, the creation behind the AT-ATs, and how they're able to make them go, like how they pioneered new film techniques to get these special effects. The whole Muppeteering with Frank Oz and Yoda. The Star Destroyers in space, how the opening crawl, they were able to get that to move, how that changed over the years, like how they changed it in like how they redid it in the digital effects and in the movies, the advancements of CGI and the prequels, and even though some people aren't too fond of that, but it was still an advancement for the time. And like, even how the new movies begin to embrace the practicality of it, but with the advancements in CGI, we're able to add CG in the movies without making it look out of place. And what I'd like to see, like the more the people, like instead of like George Lucas or several other people, like snippets here and there about how it was made, like go full in, like actually see these people working on it. Like I don't want to maybe not, and obviously not explain how it works because that would give away all their secrets, but like more of the people behind the special effects, like how they were able, like what drew them to the project, how they did this, and pretty much all over, like and pretty much showcase the people that brought this crazy universe to life beyond the actors, the director, George Lucas, and the other people. And that's pretty much all I have for that's right now. Right now, that's all I got.
Okay, cool. So we will switch to Sandy whenever you're ready.
Teams, along with various other things. In the scenes of the creatures and design of mostly the original trilogy, since that's where it all started. There are tons of fantastic designs, especially in the cantina scene and in the first movie. I would love to know the story behind the characters and makers too. Like what Jacob was saying. The story behind the creators of all these wonderful characters and these designs. Unused designs. But Ralph McQuarrie had some great designs that were never used, and just the whole of the sets and all the work that went into making those, and what the inspiration was behind some of the things we haven't seen before. I think would be really interesting, and I think a lot of people would really pay to see that. That's all I got.
Okay, Dragon, as brief as you can get it.
Okay, the title of mine is
deep breath.
The title of mine is "The War Goes On: A Star's Journey." So, many documentaries for Star Wars are on are about fans affected by Star Wars. Not many about how Star Wars affected the actors, affected their main actors. I'm saying there are a few, like "I Am Your Father." That's like on David Prowse. I'm saying again, very few and far between. So the documentary I'm pitching to you here, I'm going to go through as quickly as I can. It looks at the rise, fall, and legacy, essentially. And our lead characters are Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher archivally by this point, unfortunately. But still, worked very well. So basically, here's the breakdown in terms of like why these three and what they really bring to the film. Just give you a sense of it here. So Hamill, he's the lead. Think about it. He's the lead who didn't get the career like Harrison Ford, but eventually got a big career in voice acting. Eventually, things worked out for him. Harrison Ford, his career took off after Star Wars, but he wasn't really with Star Wars itself. Not really challenged or invested in the role. Interestingly enough, don't get me wrong, he did a great job with it, but he's not really reflecting the fondest on Star Wars over in place instead of Indiana Jones. He's much more high on Indiana Jones, but without his role as Han Solo, of course, he's a staple in pop culture or Indiana Jones. You didn't get Indiana Jones without Star Wars. Carrie Fisher, of course, here you get the most fan interaction, the judgment by the fans. The famous, always the expectations with the gold bikini and stuff. She's eventually she finds a fun slant on it over the years and a way to kind of work it to her advantage. Basically, my acts just kind of go through the characters introduced. Right? So I want you to go by a lot fast. So Act 1. basically, it boils down to we see the beginnings of them about to work on Star Wars, the casting, the filming, and the premiere. So it kind of summarizes like the whole, the actors are cast. George Lucas reflects on not knowing the film would be a big hit. We see archival footage of them starting to shoot, and they have Peter Mayhew, James Earl Jones, and Anthony Daniels kind of reflecting on the experience a little. Then we get to Act 2. So again, Act 1 pretty much ends with the lights going out in the big premiere. Like, we know how it turns out. We don't need to see how it turns out. Act 2 is kind of post the original trilogy. We're kind of basically covers post the original trilogy, like immediate response to it. We're in the middle of the prequels being made, and we also see the downside of fans. So again, like the Star Wars trilogy, the middle one's kind of the harsh one. That's the dark act. Dark time. So we start on the high note of basically, again, with all the success, Ford's ascension. Like, we begin with Harrison Ford, his career really took off, so he's kind of out of the movie, out of the act, essentially. He comes back. He's out of the act right now. Mark Hamill, again, we see the reflection of Harrison Ford. Mark Hamill's getting typecast a lot. He's not as the lead. He was a lead in Star Wars, and he tried going that route, but again, it was like a lot of typecasting. We need kind of a Luke Skywalker type, and there he is. And sometimes like the side characters, never to the level of Harrison Ford, which is kind of, again, I like the interviews that Mark Hamill made to get to the bottom, like how he felt about that. This stuff we really don't talk about with Mark Hamill. We don't get his view on this. Jake Lloyd, of course, would be kind of the real big, the dark part of Act 2. We'd go through kind of the very negative experience he had, of course, of all the fandom. He got the biggest brunt of it, a lot of torture and growing up in high school and everything. Again, he would be the biggest example of like how Star Wars fandom can eat away at you. Ahmed Best, the actor who portrayed Jar Jar Binks, he would probably reflect the initial. Now here he's an interesting case. Now follow me on this. Ahmed Best. I'm sorry, I can't scream.
Go ahead.
Point is, he deals with a lot of Jar Jar hate, reflects on that a little bit, the initial Jar Jar hate, and the Phantom Menace premiere of think about it. We have always spent time everyone going to Phantom Menace having high expectations. He's going there saying, "Oh boy, I wonder how this is going to turn out." Of course, imagine the surprise. James Earl Jones. Here's something we never really hear about. James Earl Jones will reflect on the no reactions to kind of cover again where the prequels kind of go. So everyone loved Darth Vader, and then everyone makes fun of the no.
Right.
And basically, Act 2 ends on again we've kind of covered like a lot of highs and lows here, and Act 2 would end with we pull some footage of Alec Guinness, and Alec Guinness we know is he didn't think much of it, but he still gave his all, and he gave Hamill pointers on the side, just kind of relate to Mark Hamill a little bit. And again, he was really nice to the actors on set. He made the experience good, even though again he didn't see a lot of future in it. Boy, was he wrong, but still he's kind of a nice neutral fixture of the whole Star Wars thing. Act 3, and we're going to the very end here. Basically, this is the acceptance, the legacy, and the turnaround. So Ahmed Best, we start on a high note. He eventually, he's turning all the hate on Jar Jar Binks into kind of having fun with it. A lot of all the Star Wars animated stuff made now, it kind of pokes fun at the Jar Jar hate. And actually, Robot Chicken, he got an Annie Award, so he could do that. His second turn voicing Jar Jar Binks, he got an award for it. So he started on a high note. Then we keep going. We see clips from James Earl Jones' Big Bang Theory episode, which is great. His response to the Star Wars thing, which he loves Star Wars, and people love him for it too. I mean, James Jones, of course, he's a staple in all of the history of filmmaking. Hamill gets a happy ending. He's the crux of our third act here. He gets a happy ending with the voiceover boom, the Joker, and most recently on Flash, he's playing the trickster again. So the ultimate acceptance. You're back on live action, one of these kind of roles you wrote off. Carrie Fisher, we have a wishful drinking transition. Here's the big end. Here's the last shot in building to here. So from Harrison Ford's POV of returning, the guy kind of ascended, he's now returning, which from his car ride or his journey they might have to stage, and they leads to the two, all of our main characters converging again. Like Anthony Daniels, everyone's kind of forming in there. Either they're on this, we pull footage from the set of Force Awakens, or the big table read, the big cast reading, where they all show up in the room. We use pictures or the footage. There is footage that exists of this, and we get to see just them kind of. From that footage reflecting on, hey, Rey, Finn, and Poe, another new 3 actors kind of taking the fold there. And the last shot, here we go. I'm going to sell you on this one. The lightsaber, we have the shot of of Rey with the lightsaber handing it to Luke, of course, the Mark Hamill reveal. And we recreate the handing it over, and basically we cut from that scene, we play the binary sunset over it. And as he's handed it in the footage, then we cut to Mark Hamill, who actually owns this. He owns the original lightsaber. That Luke, from the Empire Strikes, the Obi-Wan one that was used in Empire Strikes, he has that lightsaber. See, he's putting that lightsaber in a glass case, closing and reflecting upon it positively. That's the end of the movie. Old school credits, the blue and the black and the space credits. That's the end. That's the movie. Now tell me you wouldn't want to see that.
Damn, I just watched the full Rise, Fall, and Legacy of Star Wars. Wow.
All right, guys, fight against the full Rise, Fall, and Legacy of Star Wars. Oh, God. You see, this is a problem with pitches. God damn it. It's like the free bingo space for Dragon.
I gotta be completely honest with you. I was on my phone through over half of that. I wasn't even listening.
Oh, God. And it's really in a bad way. Did you just kind of phase out? Did you get bored?
I don't mean that as some negative comment or anything. I think that, kudos.
It was
to
that
Dragon.
bad, huh?
No, it was good. I'm sure it was good. I wasn't. I'm not trying to be. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything. I was just distracted and I wasn't paying attention.
Dragon, I don't want to hear a word from you. I literally just want to hear Sandy and Jacob try and fight against yours. That's all I want from this debate.
I'm ready to fire into him whenever you want me to. I'm ready to fire him.
Okay, Dragon, can you just give me a brief summary of what yours was about?
Here, I can give one.
Okay.
So, because I took notes. So, Dragons is the rise and fall legacy of essentially the main core cast members of the Star Wars franchise, with a particular focus on Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and of course the beloved and late Carrie Fisher. And so, it's separated into 3 different acts, and each act the first is, of course, the rise of the franchise. The second, the fall of some of the actors, people like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and then the legacy kind of focuses more on the modern era. So I guess like a time frame of looking at it is rise is like 1970s to the mid 80s. Fall is 1990s through the prequels, and then the legacy is kind of Disney buying the franchise, wishful drinking, all that stuff kind of now. And following the cast members through that almost 40-year period, and the effect that Star Wars had on their lives, their careers.
Oh God, I gotta say, when he brought Jake Lloyd and Jar Jar Binks into it, that was kind of the censure for me.
That was, yeah. So that's the recap of.
Do you have anything to say, guys, to combat that? Because I gotta say, right now, the points with Dragon. I mean,
I think mine is still a good idea, but
I think they're all good ideas, but
Sandy hasn't even pitched yet.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, Sandy pitched.
Oh, you have?
Sandy pitched the documentary on the designers and creators and the set making essentially, the physical world. The physical construction,
which I thought it's what Star Wars is. It's a huge piece of what Star Wars is known for, and that all speaks for itself. I don't think I really stand a chance against Dragon.
Like I said, it's the free bingo space.
In debate, in the debate that I've done in high school, there's a thing called yielding. So you yield time to end debate, or you can motion to end debate on something. And you just motion to end debate. I
haven't heard anything from Jacob.
Oh, that's true.
I got nothing.
Can I actually defend Jacob's idea? Because I really like Jacob's idea. I know that Dragons is very detailed and thought out, but I had a few thoughts that I wrote down about Jacobs.
Go ahead.
So Jacobs, of course, was the special effects, and I kind of think that the special effects of the franchise are kind of an unsung aspect. Of course, we're going to focus on the actors, and we're going to focus on the sets and everything, but I think Star Wars had such a dramatic effect on the modern special effects industry, and a lot of what modern entertainers can create. And I think that it would be, Star Wars was made right as computers were becoming more personal. That kind of technology was becoming more accessible. And, for all of the talk of overusing special effects on the prequels and everything, like Star Wars and I think it's what's George Lucas's, what was the special effects company? Was it just SF?
ILM.
What
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah. So
Industrial Light and Magic.
I think that, I mean, it really led the industry and kind of made it what it is today. And I think that would be an important kind of thing to chronicle.
Well, there is a ILM documentary, so I was going to save that as my quiver for you in case you want to.
Is there?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I think you should check it out, though. It's really good.
Well, all right. There goes my defense.
Here's one thing that I wanted to hear Jacob bring into his pitch that I didn't hear that would have been kind of a Jake Lloyd style clincher. Is it would be fascinating to explore the special effects people specifically through the lens of how they feel about the special editions and Lucas essentially disowning the original effects.
Ooh, yeah. Oh my God, Tiki, I want to see that.
See,
Nice.
but of course, I'm like Jacob. I'm sorry that would be a really good thing to work into your story that you just didn't. So. Look, guys, Sam, it's like, I think kind of at the end of the day, you and I can kind of both agree, like, Jacob and Sandy's pitches were pretty similar in terms of like, it's like no one really talks about these aspects of Star Wars, and we'll kind of dive into the nitty-gritty, get some good personal stories out of it. But Dragon's story is, like, Dragon, seriously, I know that Sandy says he phased out, but I was very compelled through your whole pitch.
Yes,
It was a vocal storyboard.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was a vocal storyboard.
What'd you think of the lightsaber thing? I was kind of most proud of that.
It was great.
I think a better closer for it would be actually like Mark Hamill taking the lightsaber out of the glass case and handing it to the actress that plays Poe.
I contemplated, but I figured he had the thing, but it's kind of like he's hanging up the torch for the new generation. And
and kind of passing the torch on.
That's a good. I know that's also.
So, like I said, basically, like just the idea of having Jake Lloyd is kind of this dark, like this. I'm sorry, I want to see like a Jake Lloyd interview. That'd be absolutely wonderful.
Well, they do exist. There are a few Jake Lloyd interviews where he's really down on the interviewer.
What really intrigues me is like Carrie Fisher in her last book brought out a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. How would a film like that handle the Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher love fest and affair and everything, and how would it handle the fact that it could not interview Carrie Fisher at all?
All right, guys. So regardless, I definitely think it's I literally did not hear any negative points against Dragon. So Dragon gets the point.
Is it tied between Dragon and Sandy now?
It's tied between Drandy and Drandy.
What?
I just made a shipping name for you too. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
He shipped you guys. Hey, he shipped you guys.
Sandy Chips. Refrain, please. I'm sorry.
As close to the mic as possible.
Chips aren't really the quiet snacks.
That's why I'm eating cookie dough.
Like pudding and jello. Those are the quiet snacks.
So we have
I'm eating cookie dough.
So we have one more question here, but Jacob cannot get into the speed round at this point mathematically. Jacob, do you still want to participate, or
can I be like a third judge?
If you want to be, it's up to you. It's up to you.
I'll do the third judge.
Okay. American Idol, this thing.
Okay. So the fifth and final question before we get into our all Star Wars speed round is let me sync up everything. So essentially, in a hypothetical Nightmare Before Christmas sequel, what holiday tree would you like to explore? Okay, we're going back around to Sandy now. So go ahead and start us off, Sandy, whenever you're ready.
So I chose St. Patrick's Day, the St. Patrick's Day tour. Imagine one of the nightmare characters, not Jack this time, because I think I probably want to see something else. I think a different character would be more interesting. But wandering through the St. Patrick's Day door and discovering a rich green world full of mischievous and some evil leprechauns. I think characters like Lock, Shock, and Barrel would fit in nicely and could play a bigger part in this film. Because I think they're definitely characters that are adored widely by fans, and if a sequel were to be made, which there never will be, if a sequel were to be made, I think they should play a bigger part in the story. But yeah, St. Patrick's Day, yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, so we'll circle back around to Dragon then, whenever you're ready, Dragon.
The only door that would make sense story-wise for Jack to explore in a sequel can only be the Valentine's door. It's the only door that continues Jack and Sally's arc from Nightmare Before Christmas and can escape the sequel trap of Jack takes over a new holiday. You don't have to do that. This one, if any doors to kind of propagate that, he's going down the road of a love story. It's a love story between him and Sally that we kind of hint, we definitely alluded to at the end of the first movie. But think about it, Valentine's Day mixed with Halloween with Valentine's Day with macabre, Edgar Allan Poe-esque style to it. Again, for just fitting with the Halloween theme. It's the only one that really makes sense out of any of those doors that would gel well with Halloween, because Christmas and Halloween you always have decorations being put up and kind of put up at the same time. You always have kind of in the back of your mind it's always going on there. Valentine's Day you have we have there's a tragic romance. You also have kind of romanticized kind of old school horror stuff. You have some directions to go, and aesthetically I think it would look the best.
Okay. I also want to point out that Jacob did have the selection of Easter, which frankly I think probably would have been the it would all be up to the debates, of course, but I think that would kind of be the uphill battle for Easter. So, anyways, guys, so go ahead and fight it out between St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day.
All right. Well, what you're proposing, basically, Dragon, is some kind of love story, which is not Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, yes,
there's a love story within it.
But that comes around at the end. I mean, Jack is totally oblivious the entire movie except for the last.
No, what if he wasn't oblivious in the second one? What if that's an evolution of his character? What if he wasn't oblivious? He was trying to do something nice for Sally.
I know, but what would the film still maintain the original heart of the first one, because as that new aspect looked.
I'm saying you could celebrate what kind of a reason we celebrate the Nightmare Before Christmas, but in different contexts. Again, the iconography is a huge element of that film. Not only you have the songs, of course, the characters, and the iconography of the world. I'm saying you kind of take those similar elements, you kind of just through a different view. Again, bear in mind, it's the exploration of a holiday. I'm saying you explore the themes of a holiday with this world, but instead of taking it over, it's like, okay, what if they've learned their lessons? It's not exactly like they're. When I say learn lessons, I don't mean like they're going to be changed characters full. They're going to be completely unrecognizable. I mean, it's Jack bringing something to the world that's it's a far vaguer concept than actual. Okay, this is Christmas, and here's our twisted version of Christmas. No, it's like, okay, well, it's an idea of love, and again, it's bringing love bringing love to Halloween, and you're kind of introducing that into this foreign world instead of trying to take it over from the outside.
Okay. A big reason I chose St. Patrick's Day is basically because a lot of people tie being mischievous and with St. Patrick's Day and Halloween. With Halloween, you have your tricks and treats, and St. Patrick's Day you have leprechauns. And I think if those two different, not incredibly different types of mischievousness. Wait, is that a word? I don't care.
No mischievousness. That's a word.
They're not completely different, but you bring those two semi-different forms of the word. You bring them together and see what happens. I think you could have some interesting brew there, where I don't think a Halloween Nightmare Before Christmas, full-on movie love story between Jack and Sally. I think that would be kind of one note. Because, that's not the original heart of the first movie, and I don't think it would work very well. I mean, of course, the ending, it did end nicely with them, falling in love with
Jack's your heart, and she's a supporting character in that. I'm saying he's still your focus, like he was in the first movie, but Sally's more of a big player here. She was still a player in the original. I'm just saying now it's like, okay, well, now she's less hiding in the shadows, more like she'll be out and about. Like
but I know, but that's kind of her character. Her character is this shy, timid, Frankenstein type creature. If you were to bring her out, what would her character be? She really wouldn't have anything else to her character except oh, Jack, love ya, see ya,
Yeah, she was kind of she's the more rational one. There was a dynamic there. Again, she was the one who's kind of Jack's caught up. He gets caught up in things, and she's.
I know. She was always the rational one. She was always the one who was using her brain first and not just her heart. But that's her character. Her character is this shy, timid, one of being shy and timid. And if you were to bring her out of that, I don't think that would play very well because
I don't know if that would kill her though. No pun intended. I'm saying again, it's like she can still be. But she can be doubled. That doesn't matter. My point is,
it wouldn't kill her, but it would knock her interesting character down a few bars.
I'm saying we advanced the character, though. I'm not understanding why we can't still keep her. She was likable she was likable and she had those traits, but I'm saying it's like, okay, well now Jack is kind of with Jack's theatricality and everything. Maybe it's giving her a little bit of confidence, but not too much confidence. Just like a little bit of it's like a girl in the process of coming out of her shell, and Jack's that's where the charm of their relationship is.
All right, well, you seem to be giving some thought. Clearly, what role would she specifically had, and how would her character develop enough to make it as interesting as the first movie?
No, first and foremost, I guess I should say this though. Again, I think the crux of the story could be it's Jack basically we see the relationship's kind of taken off, and Jack wants to do something nice for her, just kind of based on how he's like, let's say we start around Halloween because we always do that in these movies. Well, again, there are no these movies. It's just this next movie. Let's say we're starting this. You're starting this movie again. She's like they're doing the Halloween celebration they do in the beginning, and let's say Sally's also a part of this. And again, she's still a little timid, but she's in the process of really kind of getting into it. Like she's not lighting herself on fire, but she's in a costume. Maybe I don't know. She's more festive and less in the shadows, watching the man she adores. Well, the skeleton she adores. And Jack, again, following that, wants to do something nice for her, and he goes out, he ventures out, he's just kind of thinking, what can I do that's nice for her? She's really bringing me a lot of joy. I'm not just basically what she does. He's not just the Pumpkin King anymore. He's a little more than that. They sell that to someone else. He sees him as more than just the pumpkin. She knows all the stuff he's been through from that opening song. She was there. She heard it all. So he goes out in the forest. This is where he does a lot of his thinking. He hasn't really learned from all of his mistakes, so he's just kind of out there. And he looks in the heart door for these. I don't win. This is how you get these. He looks through one, opens it, and of course he discovers Valentine's. Now, here's what I'm suggesting in terms of look and just kind of visually tying all this together. Is that what if we also advance the Halloween thing too? Is like what if we make it a kind of inspired by Dios de los Muertos a little bit in terms of like kind of the line design of that.
That might be taking a few risks. I mean, you want to.
I'm not saying we completely change the world. I'm just saying with this how do you make Halloween look Valentine's infused? Aside, you go a little more gothic in the style, and maybe it's a little bit gothic mixed with Dios de los Muertos. Again, not on the nose of like it's absolutely Dios. It's not all skeletons or anything. It's just it's kind of like that really kind of. He's like inspired by the look of Valentine's Day. We have like all these cutesy little the hearts and papers and everything, but that's like through what will be on a skeleton, like the design of a skeleton, but.
All right. Yeah. Well, my other question is, do they have kids? Because I know at the end in the soundtrack, it was revealed that they eventually had kids years later.
Well, look
and
again.
I'm pretty sure this is canon.
Well, look, even if it's canon, we can just say it happens in between. You don't have to have kids. But I don't know. I'm not fully opposed to the idea of kids. But I'm sorry. Go on.
I'm not opposed to the idea at all. I mean, for mine, I think it would actually. I personally think it would benefit mine. Having all these mischievous little a pumpkin, these skeleton kids are running around.
I'm going to say no on mine because I didn't really intend it with kids.
Start some of the story. What was that?
And I'm going to... sorry about that. I'm saying you could also, like, again, here's a take you could do. I'm not necessarily saying this may or may not. If you want to... Basically, I have an idea of, like, what if you wanted to personify Cupid, you could. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying there's like another direction you'd be presented with the Cupid thing. St. Patrick's Day. Here's my problem with St. Patrick's Day. Again, it's kind of it's a misunderstood holiday. It's it's about this religious feast technically, and that's where the alcohol. Basically, a lot of stereotypes going on with St. Patrick's Day. I don't mean like that. You know, like kind of the wide. Expressing the St. Patrick's Day sort of to a wide audience, a lot of people are going to kind of go in with the expectation, okay, well, drunken Irish and leprechauns and green. Those are the only three things St. Patrick's Day has. It's a little more than that, but still, even with kind of even if you adapted the holiday perfectly, it's still going to be a really hard sell, I think, than Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
exactly. Which is exactly why you'd have to get creative. You know, like they did with what they did with the first one. You get creative and you create a few things, and you know. You end up creating
basically pitching Gremlins with leprechauns. It's pretty much what it sounds like you're pitching to me.
I've never even seen Gremlins, so I'm not getting anything from that at all.
Okay, just mischievous little otherworldly things.
Yeah, leprechauns. You know, Lock, Shock, and Barrel are, you know, have pretty much the exact same motives.
Not everyone likes Lock, Shock, and Barrel, though. I gotta tell you, a lot of people.
Tiki, wouldn't you say they're fan favorites by far?
I would say they're fan favorites. I mean, when you look at Haunted Mansion Holiday as an example, like Kidnap the Sandy Claus is like 80% of that ride.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, well, I don't think you can judge it by that brown because a lot of people have their favorites. It's like, you know, a lot of people are Sally fans. A lot of people, you know, are fans of the mayor. You have a few that are for his really obscure characters.
I'm not saying you should focus all on those.
I personally like the Melting Man.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. You have the devil too. You know, the devil with like the weird, you know. Then they have the Eric Balza sounding guy with like the weird little kind of symbol mouth.
Yeah,
the Harlequin. Yeah, I'm not saying you should focus entirely on Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I'm just saying, you know, I was using them as an example. I mean, if we were looking to put leprechauns in this, then I'm sure they would act something like what Lock, Shock, and Barrel do. And I would not be opposed to having them play a bigger part in the story. And of course, giving Jack and Sally their due screen time, without a doubt. I mean, they would be, you know, some of the biggest parts of the story. But
well, what's your story beyond Lock, Shock, and Barrel on Discover Leprechauns? I'm assuming they go through the giant.
That wasn't really what my pitch was. I wasn't saying.
I'm sorry.
Leprechauns.
Okay. Well, how do the leprechauns?
I'm just saying if they were to play a bigger part in the story.
Sure.
I'm not sure what they would do, and I'm not even sure what the story is. But I'm saying it'd be.
Just to be fair, this argument is more about like the world you want to explore and less about like the semantics of the sequel.
Oh.
So
okay, let's see then.
Couple more minutes. We need to wrap this up soon.
I think you can make a very interesting St. Patrick's Day world because, you know, it's so bright and so colorful and, you know, beautiful. I think you can make for some beautiful scenery and, you know, just having these weird. It's different than Christmas, you know, which is also, you know, really nice to look at, but it's not beautiful to look at. It's very colorful to look at. I think if we were to go with something like St. Patrick's Day, green rolling hills, you know, I think if you can make something really beautiful and pleasing to the eye to look at, something very peaceful, but, you know, abounding with, you know, a mischievous leprechauns, and then, you know, you throw these totally bizarre Halloween creatures in with the mix, and I think it'd make for something very, very interesting that we haven't seen before.
Well, if we're talking about just the landscape itself, I'm saying you go into for the Valentine's Day, where I guess I'm picturing is like you could have like a really, again, romanticized atmosphere. I'm not just saying like what they bring to Halloween. I'm saying into the actual door itself. When you go through it, you know, you fall through whatever's, you know, the ominous black sky, wherever you fall through. Point is, you land and you basically see it's kind of like a kind of a. For romanticizing, it's kind of a Parisian sort of design to the buildings. There's a lot of like, you know, really warm. There's a warm color palette. You know, again, it's like you have white, you have your pinks, you have your reds somehow, you know, worked in. Like there's some brick architecture in there, but again, it's like a softness softness to it. You maybe have like I'm not making it like on its nose. I'm talking about like deep cuts Paris. I'm not talking about just like you have like the scene of a guy in a water boat necessarily.
It's called a gondola dragon.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think I pretty much said all I. Oh yeah, Jacob's here. I completely forgot. He's been totally silent.
Well, no, we didn't. I gave him the option if he wanted to debate or not. He said he could just do a judge.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so guys, I think we've pretty much heard everything. So let's.
I've said my bit.
Yeah. So let's get into final thoughts here. I'll give you guys each 30 seconds. Let me get the stopwatch pulled up again. Okay, let's see. Who started this off? I believe it was
Sandy.
Okay, Sandy. So Sandy.
Yeah. Well, I think I made my point pretty clear, man. I think that everyone here understands what I'm getting at. I think it'd make for a very interesting story, something we haven't seen before, and something different than the first one. Again, Christmas Town was something very colorful to look at. And it looked nice, but it didn't look, it wasn't beautiful the way I think something like St. Patrick's Day world could be. And then, throwing all these weird characters in with the mix, it leads to some very, very interesting. You guys get it.
Yeah, we get it. I get what you're saying. All right, Dragon, whenever you're ready.
We're picking up with the window.
I think if you go in the direction of St. Patrick's Day, you kind of run the risk of going a little cliche and gimmicky. I'm not really hearing much about the lay of the land there. Again, I think there's just much more natural. There's a natural melding of Halloween and Valentine's Day. Again, it's kind of like an old school horror romance with some interesting kind of visual things you can go with there. I mean, just horror and romance kind of goes together. We've seen that with various examples. Look at the old Dracula movies. I mean, look at all the. Again, that Jack and said, it's a whole proven thing. People love these two together. Let's continue that story.
Okay. Guys, I honestly thought this was a pretty damn even debate for the most part. You guys both made really good points, so I am going to basically defer to our guest judges here. Guest judges?
All right.
Let me go first.
Oh, okay, I go first. All right. Ooh, okay. So I think the biggest underlying consensus kind of was that there should not be a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel.
Keep in mind, this isn't a pitch. We're all speaking hypotheticals here.
I think. Okay. I wish that Dragon would have brought up. I think this could have been a good con argument for St. Patrick's Day. I wish Dragon would have brought out the juxtaposition, because Sandy was talking about how St. Patrick's Day and Halloween are kind of similar in the mischievous terms. So I wish that it had been brought up the Valentine's Day and Halloween have a better juxtaposition, and I think the reason The Nightmare Before Christmas works so well is that we don't associate Halloween and Christmas as being similar holidays. Mm-hmm. We consider them very polar opposites of one another, and so I think that a Valentine's Day Halloween juxtaposition would work better because they're very kind of polar opposite holidays. One's about death, the other is about
that,
love.
Dragon's argument was more about how they fit well together and
true. But I think that Dragon's meaning they would fit well together in the same way that Christmas and Halloween fit together. Okay,
gotcha.
And that you have room to kind of manipulate it. I think a good con argument though against the Valentine's Day one was you shouldn't the franchise shouldn't be a love story. And the franchise,
that's kind of where I initial arguments speaking. I was more on board with Sandy just for the whole, let's continue this world. There's a lot more characters besides Jack Skellington. I don't even necessarily think Jack Skellington is the most interesting or compelling character in that world.
Exactly.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Jack, but I'm just saying, there's...
In my opinion, I would give it to St. Patrick's Day, to the St. Patrick's Day idea. because I think that it gives more room to explore different characters, and it doesn't force the sequel to stick to the same people. I feel like St. Patrick's Day can actually could stand alone as its own film. It has more potential to stand alone as its own film.
Okay, let's hear from Jacob.
Well, I do have to admit, both ideas are very interesting. Like, both of them can be seen as juxtapositions to Halloween characters.
Mm.
Both of them did raise good points against each other as well.
Lexicon idea. I think that would lead to a lot of good world building. I gotta say, in terms of conceptualizing the world, I like the idea of like the green rolling hills a little bit more than I like this whole like vague sort of Parisian setting. Go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. But like I said, Sandy Darius made a good point. The central theme to it, the first movie, was not a romantic story, and like considering, I mean, like it would be nice to have some development between them, but I don't think that should be an overall central theme to the story. I mean, character development would be nice, and so, but then again, Sandy brought up, so would be exploring other characters in this world. Jack's story has been told. I mean, he's like, oh, he's just getting into another mishap again. No, like these other characters have room to grow. So I would honestly, since Sam brought up a lot of good points there, I would also have to go with Sandy's point.
Okay, point goes to Sandy. Okay, Jacob, unfortunately you're out of it, obviously, so you'll just help us with the judging, but valiant effort, sir. Valiant effort as always. So Sandy and Dragon. Dragon, you are only 1 point behind. You've got 5 points you can get, so you're definitely not out of this at all. This is going to be a Star Wars specific speed round. So let me go. What?
Are they tied? Or go Dragon has 3?
No. That it's 3 Sandy and 2 Dragon right now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Oh God, I keep forgetting to reset this timer. Okay, so just.
Oh wait, Tiki.
Yo.
We never did best movie character from the.
No, there was no movie character.
I sent out several options, and we went with best film.
Okay, yeah, all right. I don't know. I had that one then. I had something.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so basically to reiterate the rules here, the debaters will get 30 seconds for an opening statement. Then we'll get into 2 counter arguments, which will each last 15 seconds apiece, and then we'll get. And then
the adrenaline that rushes.
And then we'll get into one last 30-second final statement. And Dragon, your perfect record is riding on this.
Don't put it like that.
I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm going to go based on whoever got the last point gets to go second on the speed round. So Sandy, since you got the last point, oh wait, no, never mind. I'm sorry. It's just about who. Just say your pick, and if you say your pick first, you get to go first, and so that's how that works. So, all right, guys, this is not necessarily a big surprise for Sandy and Dragon because I kind of revealed this pre-show, but for Sam it'll be a surprise. So, in loving memory of Carrie Fisher, may the force be with her always. We want to ask, what is the all-time greatest Princess Leia moment?
Tarkin Vader confrontation. You know, like she meets Tarkin Vader in the very beginning of New Hope.
Okay. Sandy?
Her down the hallway with R2 giving him the Death Star plans.
Okay, so we have Tarkin and Vader versus the Death Star plans. Go ahead. I guess we'll start with Dragon. You have 30 seconds. Go for it. Go ahead.
A hugely important moment in Star Wars for Princess Leia is when she meets Governor Tarkin and Vader, and she right out the gate she insults him. Governor Tarkin, I should have recognized you, a foul center. I should have expected you holding Vader's leash. again, she's like taking them down right from the get-go, showing, yeah, I'm not going to take any nonsense from you guys. And given all the cool stuff we've seen in Rogue One, without getting the specifics, I mean, we saw cool and imposing Darth Vader. For her to have the princess going to say that to him, I mean, I don't want to mess with that. That lady, she's got some gumption there, and she's leading this rebel charge. I mean, I don't want to run to her after this.
Okay, Sandy, 30 seconds whenever you're ready.
The great thing about this scene that I've chosen here, where she gives to R2 the Death Star plans down the hallway, is she doesn't say anything. Nothing is said. I think maybe R2 makes a few noises, but nothing is said. But she is very clearly doing something. She's very clearly doing something very important. Nothing, of course, nothing is being said. Something very important is being done, and we know that the character that we're seeing, Princess Leia, that she plays a crucial part in this story. And all right, I didn't have everything typed out for that, so I'm just falling around. Okay.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to talk really quick for these. We're gonna do 2 15-second counter arguments. These are always fun, right?
No.
No.
We'll start with Dragon.
So you're saying bending down, pushing a button, and getting knocked out constitutes a great Princess Leia moment. That's like the best Princess Leia moment. That's what you're saying to me, right?
Nope.
I mean, come on. It's the message later on. That's important. You're not giving the message. You're giving me, okay, well, girl in white, okay, she's important, I guess.
Okay, Sandy, whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, Dragon, it's what pressing a few buttons and twisting a few knobs. It's what what happens after that. That triggers the entire movie, and some could say the entire Star Wars saga, the original trilogy, because what happens after that? She starts this huge thing.
Okay, counter argument number 2, Dragon, when you're ready.
Even without knowing anything about what's connected to before or after the moment, you still got to admire. Okay, she's just talking to the big bad guy. She's not showing any fear whatsoever. I mean, that's a likable and admirable character. You're rooting for this girl at that point with that little moment there. Other moment, you got it's barely. It goes so fast. It's nothing.
Okay, Sandy, second counter argument whenever you're ready.
That small moment triggers basically the entire film. And for the clip is only a few seconds, and for the clip that short in the movie, it's got to speak volumes of this whole thing that it starts. Just that one little clip of forgiving.
Okay, and finally we'll do 30-second final statements, starting with Dragon.
I'm saying my moment captures your moment already. Okay, this woman must clearly be important because two big imposing guys are bringing her in and questioning her, and she's just right off the bat, she's just throwing guff at them. And the other moment, again, you kind of need a lot aside to make that moment really sell, really sing. Again, that one's just like, okay, well, it's kind of raising an eyebrow. Okay, I'm intrigued. The other one's like, okay, I respect this one. It's a well-reflecting Princess Leia moment. It's on very wishful drinking use of this clip. I mean, there's a lot of really useful. Yeah, it's impactful. It's a very important part of Princess Leia.
Okay, and 30 seconds to Sandy.
The whole film revolves around that decision that she makes there, and that one shot lasts for a few seconds. The whole movie revolves around that and the decision that she is going to make there. And I think just that little clip that speaks great volumes when it comes to the intensity of a character. And Princess Leia ended up being such a memorable character, one of the best in the history of cinema. And I think just that little piece of the film can trigger so much and triggers her entire character. tell so much about it.
Okay. I'll throw it to the guest judges, but I think this is a pretty one-sided debate here.
I have no comment to add.
We must have really bombed, both of us.
Jacob, any thoughts?
Nah.
Oh God, it's getting worse.
No. Here's the thing, Sandy. I just don't think you had the best selection. If you would have thought about it a little bit more, you probably could have come up with something better. Because essentially, what it boils down to is all I kept hearing from Sandy was like the same thing over and over again. Just well, it's a thing that sparked the story. It's the thing that sparked the story. And whereas Dragon, he actually has like some really compelling stuff. And ultimately, I didn't really necessarily hear you guys going after each other, but I'm gonna have to give it to Dragon on that one. Okay, guys, this might be one of the most fun speed round questions we've ever done. I'm really excited about this one. So we're going to do a bargain bin. But instead of movies, it's going to be two shitty characters. And what I want to know is which one is the better character. And keep in mind, Jar Jar is not in this, but it's two other.
Thank God.
It's two other very shitty characters from Phantom Menace. So.
No.
Okay, well, too late.
Wait, is it like the whole cast?
No.
He's going to give us two characters to pick.
Who's the better character?
New Gunray. New Gunray.
No. I have to go with big fat lizard frog.
Okay, so we have Newt Gunray versus Boss Nass. Just compelling characters,
Nass.
right?
That's his fat, ugly name.
Just wonderful fucking characters. Oh god.
Boss Nass. Can I get a picture of this guy, please? Boss Nass. Oh, fat.
You don't remember Boss Nass?
Boss Nass. Gosh.
It's the guy. He does like the slobber.
Yeah.
You saw the diplomatic, whatever.
Overly fat, like morbidly obese Gungan.
He's like my dad.
The only Gungan that doesn't look like the rest of the Gungans, pretty much.
That noise.
The noise.
This is gonna. Okay.
Where's that crinkly coming from?
Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. I mean some Haribo gummy bears.
Why did it have to be that?
Sandy, I want to hear what you guys have to say. So
I have nothing for this moron. I am
just waiting for the gummy bears to be silenced. No.
I've always hated this character.
Here, I'll mute so y'all can talk.
Don't mean to be rude. Just gummy bears will distract.
Do you make your point?
What?
Do you give up your point? Do you forfeit this round?
No.
Okay.
I just know nothing about him.
So, well, I mean,
I know he's the leader of the Gungans, and I know he's fat. He's
leader of the
all over the
Gungans.
place.
Do we want to play this out or not, guys? Come on.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready when he is.
All right. Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
Give it a shot.
So 30, 15, 15, 30. So Dragon, whenever you're ready.
Newt Gunray is the most important character in all the prequels. We get a start in Phantom Menace. Newt Gunray, think about it. He's kind of one of our big kind of evil masterminds in consultation with Palpatine, who was not known to be the Emperor at this point. Big surprise. Basically, Newt Gunray here. He's he's kind of the guy running all the blockade stuff and everything. He's kind of the evil mastermind behind all these overseeing. And he has a really cool voice. I think he's I think he's memorable. Definitely more memorable.
You really think his voice is cool?
Tiki, we're against the wall here. Go with me.
Okay, I'm just saying, the one criticism I've heard constantly of that character is his voice. But okay, Sandy, let's see how you do. Oh man, so 30 seconds, Sandy, whenever you're ready.
All right. What a great leader this is. Isn't he just fantastic? Although he doesn't have a huge role, the Gungans are not highly looked upon. He plays one of the biggest roles in the Gungan world, and he has successfully led a peaceful but fierce race, one that is skilled in battle, but of course gentle when they're not in battle. He is a very, very victorious leader, and although he can be quite harsh sometimes, I still think he definitely has what it takes to lead a successful race of Gungans, even though they suck butt.
Quick question.
No, you did it. You did it, Sandy. Yeah, Dragon?
Are we allowed to talk to them in the context of all three movies, or does it have to be specified to Phantom Menace?
Honestly, I prefer for it to be Phantom Menace. So with that in mind, 15 seconds, Dragon, whenever you're ready.
Boss Nass is a dope. He really is. I mean, he gets the Jedi mind trick works on, which means he's weak-minded. The other guy doesn't. He's so far he's avoiding getting killed. And he also kind of plays in this interesting thing of George Lucas kind of looking at the old school filmmaking, kind of bringing it to the prequels and modern.
Okay, Sandy, whenever you're ready, 15 seconds.
Boss Nass is willing to work with the Jedi. He is a peacemaker. Look what happened to Gunray. His army died, and he died. Boss Nass lived his years, who knows, probably as far as Jedi, or maybe even Force Awakens. He lived his years in peace because he was a successful leader and a peacemaker, unlike this Gunray.
All right. Okay,
I'm getting fierce now. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, Dragon, 15 seconds whenever you're ready.
Boss Nass is a terrible leader. Again, they had to use the mind trick to get him to help with their journey. To help them get for some reason get Jar Jar and get up to the surface so they can save their miserable planet. Because he didn't listen, because he wasn't listening to the reason, hey, big danger here. No, we can't.
Okay, finally, or Sandy, 15 seconds.
They had to use the mind trick, but because in that moment he wasn't being very agreeable. Why? Because Jar Jar was a menace to the world, and the Jedi needed him. That goes to show how good a leader he is. He was willing to stand up to the Jedi to protect him and his people.
Ooh, okay. All right. You got 30 seconds. Final statement.
Gunray's a crime boss who succeeds all the way until his demise. Films from now, again, he gets away with that. But you see, Boss Nass here again. Nass, his whole thing would have been wiped out. Again, he would have made a very foolish decision. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying New Gunray is far more intelligent, and he's cunning, and again, he's going to bring back some old. But he's cunning and he's more interesting, and again, he has more longevity than Boss Nass. Is kind of a one-off. Like he's a joke. He's a visual joke. Versus the Gunray is just kind of these. Again, he's tied to the Emperor's Plan is one of these kind of almost like a Kingpin's ball for Star Wars.
Oh, sorry, shit. Sandy, do you want another 5 seconds or so? Or wait, yeah. Okay, so I'll give Sandy 35 seconds.
It's more like 40 seconds.
More like 40 seconds?
Keep letting it go.
Okay, well, I'll give Sandy...
Wait, was it 30 seconds or...
Your argument was about 40 seconds, so I'll give Sandy the same amount of time.
All right. Well, to wrap things up, Boss Nass lived his years in peace. Meanwhile, Gunray is being slaughtered for being a total tool and moron, falling for Palpatine's tricks and deception. Boss Nass is a great leader who led his people in peace to the very end. We even see them in Jedi. That's how we know they lived that long. We don't know how long this guy could live, but, you know, as far as I know, he's still alive in Force Awakens. Why? Because he was a great peacemaker and leader of the Gungan race. I'm done.
Okay, let's see. I want to hear from. I want to hear from Boss Nass. I want to hear from the guest judges here, Sam and Jacob. If you have anything to say.
Near the end, Sandy actually did bring some interesting arguments about Boss Nass.
I mean, I've got to hand it to Sandy here. He used his time very economically. He was really passionate about it. Like he was passionately against getting Boss Nass, but then in his actual debate, he was like, you know, he brought a lot of fire to what he was saying, and you know, I don't know, for sheer creativity, I'm leaning more towards Sandy here on this one.
In terms of debate, Sandy like took something that he didn't actually agree with and made a damn good argument.
Exactly
about it, and like points there. The one thing that I wish Sandy would have brought up was that without Boss Nass, the later events of Phantom Menace might not have happened.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it Boss Nass's agreement?
Well, that's kind of like the whole thing about him being a peacemaker.
Yeah. So like, I would say Sandy.
Okay. The one thing with Sandy is I feel like he could have attacked Newt Gunray a little bit more than he did. There's negative things to say about Newt Gunray that he didn't get to.
Well, I did technically get to those. I mean, you know.
And can we just all agree that Newt Gunray has a fucking stupid voice?
Yeah.
I am an Asian stereotype.
Brought that up. You know, Lucas, he's kind of bringing the Asian stereotypes back.
Okay. Well,
we can always count on George Lucas to make really racist stereotypes in this.
Exactly. Regardless, Sandy gets the point. That's the score right now. I believe Sandy has 4 and Dragon has 3, so it's still anyone's game. We have 3 more questions to go now. Okay, guys, let's see. I've kind of got a list. I kind of want to pick the best ones, the more interesting ones.
I think I might actually like Boss Nass a lot more now.
Okay, let's
I don't love him, but I like him.
Let's continue with the prequel talk. Let's go. What is the better movie, Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace?
Attack of the Clones.
Okay, let me get the timer. Sandy said Attack of the Clones first, so go first. Okay, what is the better Star Wars prequel? Because we can all agree Revenge of the Sith is probably the best one, but out of the first 2, what's the better one? So, Sandy, go ahead. You have 30 seconds.
What's the better prequel?
Attack of the Clones brings us, of course, the Clone Army, one of the best pieces of the prequels. We meet Jango Fett, the feared bounty hunter and father of a serious bounty hunter Boba Fett. Brings us a much better and mature, much more likable Obi-Wan and a much better story. I think everything was a lot more fleshed out in this one. Of course, now we have the whole love story. Now, I think one of the main staples about this is Obi-Wan, just how likable he is in this one.
Okay, we'll go to Dragon. You have 30 seconds. Opening argument.
Phantom Menace is way better than Attack of the Clones. You know, it's got some great practicality. It has some great sequences in it. Again, Phantom Menace is more memorable than Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones just blurs together and has a lot of forgettable sequences that you can remember every part of Phantom Menace. You really can. You know, you have, like, of course, the Darth Maul lightsaber battle at the end. You know, again, the Qui-Gon, the opening with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan, again, it really stirred people. Like, oh my god, lightsabers being used by Jedi is kind of like a buddy cop thing. Like, okay, it's like a lethal weapon, but in space.
Okay, first of the two 15-second rebuttals. Sandy, whenever you're ready.
And he's gone.
That's not good.
He's gone? Oh, no.
Give
no.
it a second. Maybe he's coming back.
He
Oh,
just
God.
his computer's freezing.
Oh, shit. Jacob, do you want to step in and fight this one?
No, wait, hold it. What happened to him?
His computer froze. He said he can't hear
How do you
anything.
know his computer? Oh, he did?
Group message.
Sam, do you want to step in and... Oh, God. You unmute, Sam. Unmute.
He knows. He's not a dummy. Look at him.
All right. Okay. So I just have to pick.
No,
best.
you're basically fighting Sandy's argument for him. So
Okay. And what is Sandy's argument again? Give me the
it's Phantom Menace versus Attack of the Clones. No, it's Attack of the Clones. Sandy's fighting for Attack of the Clones versus Phantom Menace.
Okay. All right. Can I have a second?
Sure.
Oh, actually,
No, you can have 15.
Sorry, 15. I was being too generous. Well, in total, we'll have 30. So.
All right. So
I mean, I'm gonna contact him and see what's going on before we
Okay,
can.
well, I just so we can keep the momentum going here.
So I will have 15 seconds or 30.
Yeah.
15.
15 seconds right now.
Okay. So Attack of the Clones is undisputably the best of the prequel films. Not only does it lead to more character development of all the characters involved within the franchise, specifically Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme, but it also leads to some absolutely stunning visual effects. Yet it shows us a larger version of the world.
Okay, Dragon, 15 seconds whenever you're ready.
Clones is a dumb knockoff of Empire. It's trying to capture the magic of the best Star Wars film by doing it in such an inferior way. The Phantom Menace, on the other hand, shows us new stuff. It's kind of building the myth, it's building history, elements we haven't seen of Star Wars before, except for Tatooine, which is great to kind of be in Tunisia, seeing it.
Okay, Sam, another 15-second rebuttal whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm just gonna
Sandy
have to absolutely.
Sandy wants a link or something.
Let's see if he can do the next 15 seconds for himself. Dude. Let's give him a shot. Let's give him a link.
Okay.
All right. I have to simply disagree.
Hold on,
Attack of
Sam.
Hold on.
Sam.
Crap.
Trying to get Sandy back.
All right.
Jacob, does he want me to send an invite or post the link to the chat?
Try sending it
I
to the
just sent
group
him an
chat.
invite. Send it through the group chat. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, I just sent it.
Works.
Saw it. Sorry about this, folks. So how was your New Year, Sam?
My New Year's was not as fun as it's been in the past.
Aw.
In the past, usually I had a party to go to, or I was trying to push out the Taffy Alliance Awards last minute. But this year I stayed home, and I had a few friends over. Since this is a PG film, I'll say we drank some apple cider, some sparkling apple cider. It's 2017. It was funny because after Trump won, I turned to my friend and I was like, 2016 is like not gonna go lightly, because my friend was all like, all right, 2016's done. I was like, nope, it's gonna throw us a few more punches. And sure enough, it did not let me down right up to the last minute with the terrorist attack in Istanbul. So 2016 went out with a bang, the bang of a gun. But so yeah.
Hey, he's back.
Hey, I'm back.
Yay! Wow, that was like
the,
really well timed at the end of Sam's little monologue there. Thank you, Sam.
I'm not sure what the heck happened. My computer was doing fine, then all of a sudden it just go and it stopped.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you only here.
What?
So I had Sam step in and do one of your two 15-second rebuttals for you. So we're on the second 15-second rebuttal.
Oh, thank you, Sam. I hope that was good enough so I could win.
He did a good job. He did a good job.
Wait, should we let Sandy know like what Dragon's rebuttal was?
Yeah, I guess if someone wants to refer.
So Dragon had said that Phantom Menace is like that. Attack of the Clones is just trying to model itself off of Empire. Was it?
Yeah.
Empire, and that Phantom Menace is actually a new, different film that can stand alone. That's what I got.
Well, basically, it's not a repeat of a movie from the original trilogy.
And Sam, if you want to sum up just your 15-second rebuttal for Sandy really quick.
So mine was that Attack of the Clones develops the three main characters, Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan more, and it shows us more of the Star Wars universe than
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we're on the same page now. Got
Yeah,
it.
did you have something else you wanted to say? I think I cut him off.
Oh no, I'm good.
Sandy, you're coming in like very fuzzy, Sandy.
I'm sorry. I I'm sorry. Is it better now?
A little better, yeah. We'll
Okay.
go with it.
I'll just
Okay.
go like this then.
So Sandy, we're on your second 15-second rebuttal. Whenever you want to start.
Okay. I've been trying to figure out this whole situation for the past like 5 minutes. I couldn't get anything else written because my computer froze up. Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones it's a much better movie. It fleshes everything out really well. It works better as a film than Phantom Menace did. It has some more enjoyable characters. Of course, Jango Fett is much more enjoyable than Jar Jar Binks. And of course, it shows some. Oh crap! Okay.
Okay, Dragon, 15 seconds whenever you're ready.
Clones has a really bad relationship between Anakin and Padme. It's got CG kind of generic lightsaber eye candy fights. It's so forgettable. That's the thing. At least you remember Phantom Menace. It's the story of Darth Vader matters more than just like clones. What's going for Georgians? Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, Sam. Sorry, Sandy. 15-second. 15. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Sandy. Final 30-second conclusive final statement, whatever.
I think the imagery in Attack of the Clones is a lot better. It also sheds some light on Boba Fett and his origins, even though most people don't really like the way he was portrayed in that film. Again, it brings Obi-Wan into picture again, and it shows what a likable person you can be. Ewan McGregor did such an amazing job, and in the second and third movie especially. In the second movie, his character really shines, and I think.
Okay, Dragon, whenever you're ready, 30 seconds.
I'm arguing the complete opposite. Clones is forgettable. Menace, you have these memorable sequences. Also, there's great emotion on Obi-Wan when he loses his mentor in front of him during a very well choreographed battle with Darth Maul. I mean, he's honoring his mentor's last request. The scene when Anakin says goodbye to his mother. We get thrilling sequences like the pod racing. Again, has all these. So you can remember all these sequences from Menace versus it's a mess of like, hey, remember this? Hey, we're kind of copying other stuff from the trilogy. Let's just do it here. Let's do an inferior Boba Fett gets killed off.
Okay, Sam. Unfortunately, I can't really have you pitch in with this one. But Jacob, what are your thoughts?
Well, as far as personal opinion goes, as listening goes, really for me the only thing that the first one had Phantom Menace has going for it.
Jacob, choose mine.
Don't listen to him.
Let me speak. I said I'm going by honest opinion here, and for me right now the most the first one has going for it is the music.
Ooh. Okay, and that's that's something Dragon didn't really even touch on was the music.
That's the thing. There's Duel of the Fates. I mean, come on.
Here's my thing though.
But
the one thing I kept hearing from Sandy was mostly just like, Obi-Wan's really good in it. And also, Sandy, you kind of kept bringing up, the three main characters, and that was something that Sam had as well. And I don't know. Dragon, I was kind of worried that you wouldn't get in your digs on the love story and everything, but you did. And I think really what I heard for Dragon on Attack of the Clones that really sold me on his argument was, Attack of the Clones really just feels like it's melded together. There's not a lot of standout moments in it, whereas with Phantom Menace, at least there's memorable sequences. So it's close. You guys both did a good job, but I'm going to have to give the point here to Dragon.
Boy, that was a hard one.
All right, guys, we got two more to go. You think that was hard, Dragon? How about a brutal one? What is the best Star Wars droid ever?
R2.
Fuck a bag.
Dragon, whenever you're ready.
C-3PO.
Okay. C-3PO versus R2-D2. I wanted someone to pick K2, so come on.
I was why it took so long. I had to consider it. I'm still going with C-3PO.
Okay. Also, just for the record, guys, you guys are tied right now at 4 points apiece. So these next two are going to be pretty pivotal. So we have R2-D2 versus C-3PO, probably the standard picks, but let's see how it plays out. Sandy, whenever you're ready with R2-D2.
Well, R2-D2, he is the Star Wars droid. When you think of Star Wars droids, you think R2-D2. He's a tough little guy. He's independent. He can manage well on his own. C-3PO really can't. He's a protocol droid. R2 can do a wide variety of things. He has electricity powers. He can fly. He can do all these different great things. He can store information. He is the droid you think about when you think Star Wars. He is.
Okay, Dragon, whenever you're ready.
C-3PO is the Alfred of space. He's the Alfred of Star Wars. He's this endearing character you root for, and you're like, he has like a bickering friendship with R2-D2. You don't get half of the R2-D2 dialogue without the C-3PO translating. He serves various purposes, and he has all these great reports off the characters. The only thing R2 has is like with Luke, and he's just kind of like, don't worry, R2, everything's going to be okay, versus C-3PO. And he and Han don't really get along that well, but C-3PO has nothing but love for Han. He has nothing but respect for Han.
That's a good one. Okay. All right. So get to the first rebuttal. Sandy, you have 15 seconds.
See, that's the great thing about R2-D2. You don't need a translator. You can read his emotions and what he's trying to do without an interpreter. Of course, C-3PO does help, but he's not necessary. R2-D2, he's tough and he knows what.
Okay, Dragon, whenever you're ready.
I think it's an odd couple thing. I don't think you care as much as you do about R2 without, the C-3PO bouncing off of him. You really need these two bouncing off of each other. C-3PO, however, has proven that when he's separated, he can still carry the act with other people. I think that's really what boils down between those two. C-3PO's got no personality.
Okay, Sandy, 15 seconds, whenever you're ready.
R2 can carry the act perfectly. He's smart. He's a smart aleck. He can handle intense situations without the aid of anyone else. Of course, as I said before, he can fly, and he has a wide variety of different abilities, ones that C-3PO doesn't have.
Okay, Dragon, 15 seconds, if you're ready.
C-3PO is more entertaining. He's scared of everything. R2-D2 is so super confident. He's like the cool guys. He's just walking in the room. He's taking care of things. If he gets broken, he'll get repaired like he does at the end of A New Hope. You don't really care as much as you do about C-3PO because, oh no, if we never heard C-3PO again, that'd be a travesty.
Okay. Final statements. 30 seconds apiece. Sandy, whenever you're ready.
C-3PO is a scaredy cat. He has some nice things to say, but R2-D2 says it like it is. He's saved so many people. He's been around the Star Wars universe far longer than C-3PO has. He's got a lot to say, and then often gets him into some pretty interesting situations. Ones that, of course, C-3PO would not, really be able to get into because he's a protocol droid. He's stuck with his master. He embodies Star Wars at the end.
Okay, you managed to get an extra sentence in there. Well done. Okay, Dragon, 30 seconds, whenever you're ready.
I'll remind you, C-3PO gives the orders. Okay, he's the one who saved him off from the trash compactor because he told R2 what to do. He's built by Darth Vader. That's just cool points already. Again, he's going to tie into the Skywalker family. He's in this. We need him in Star Wars again. K2SO and R2-D2, they're kind of like they're the butch. They're the cool guys. But I like the Luke Costellos. I like the comedian, the funny one of he's terrified, but in the end he's going to help out in the end. It's like, oh, I'm glad we had C-3PO around. He's the endearing essence of Star Wars.
So apparently both these characters are the endearing essence of Star Wars. Is that what we're getting at here? I'm just joking. In a way, yes, but
they're both great, right?
So thoughts on Sam and Jacob?
C-3PO is definitely the Abbott, not the Costello. First of all.
Sam, thoughts?
I would say 3PO.
Yeah, here's where I'm getting at with the argument, kind of what I was hearing. When Sandy was listing, like, basically, like, up until his final argument, which he did kind of start to get some character stuff in there, he was more just listing, like, hey, look how cool R2-D2 is, whereas Dragon used all his time to kind of showcase the character of C-3PO. So for that reason, I have to give Dragon the point. Okay. So here's where we're at, guys. Dragon has 5, Sandy has 4, and if Dragon gets this point, he'll win. If Sandy gets this point, then we'll unfortunately have to go into a 6th question, but I don't. So regardless, basically what I want to hear from this one, it's kind of, actually, no, I've got a more simple question. So basically in Force Awakens, we saw awesome actors like Daniel Craig and Kevin Smith get Stormtrooper cameos in Force Awakens. For Episode 8, which awesome celebrity should be a Stormtrooper?
Oh, seriously?
Cranston.
Bryan Cranston. Okay, if you want to. Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad.
We can use Kevin Smith again, right?
No, we can't use Kevin Smith.
Then I'm using Cranston.
Okay.
The fat guy?
What?
The fat guy?
Bryan
Is
Cranston.
Kevin Smith the fat man? Is that what you're asking?
No.
No, it's that bald guy from
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. He's also the dad on Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
Okay, well, I honestly, I don't have anyone. I don't know enough actors.
Obama. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, let me switch to a different question then, because I want to give Sandy a fair shot here.
It's like any celebrity. You can put in a Stormtrooper, put him in the movie in some
But it
capacity.
would have to work. I'm not gonna say Johnny Depp, and that'd be stupid.
Okay, General Grievous versus Count Dooku. Who's the better villain?
Grievous.
Ooh.
Sandy, are you okay with that? Arguing for Dooku?
Sure, whatever.
Okay. So General Grievous versus Count Dooku. Dragon, you have the opening argument.
Grievous is elusive. He goes through all of Clone Wars. He keeps escaping. He keeps building because they can't have him and Anakin meet. But that just shows you his craftiness. Man, this guy keeps forming these plans and he keeps getting away scot-free. Again, the guy's like Capone. And in the end, he has like this really cool-looking fight with Obi-Wan with the 4 hands and all the lightsabers. You're going to force lightsabers. That's the way to do it. Just like this awesome kind of robot, half reptilian alien sort of thing. He looks cool. He's got a cape, and George Lucas does the bronchial coughs. I mean, you got a lot of... Grievous also has a cool vehicle too, which is a good French style.
Okay, Sandy, 30 seconds for Count Dooku.
Dooku is smart. Grievous is a loose cannon. Grievous died because he was foolish. He didn't let his army finish off Obi-Wan. Instead, he wanted it himself. In the process, getting himself killed in the most embarrassing manner. Dooku handles situations nicely and in proper manners, which is usually what a Sith does. A Sith usually is not a loose cannon. The Sith usually know how to handle situations in a smart and efficient manner, the way Dooku does when he's seen in the films.
Okay, so we're going to do 15-second rebuttals, but before we do that, I kind of just want to make the distinction here. I'm looking specifically for Dooku as the main villain of Episode 2 versus Grievous as the main villain of Episode 3.
So you want to specify it to the movies?
Yeah. So just...
Okay, could have made that clear.
Okay, well, I kind of made it clear, like, who's the better... Yeah, you're right.
Well, can we keep the stuff we said already, or do we have to read them?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just don't mention any other stuff about... Because I know Grievous, like, it wouldn't be fair to Sandy because Grievous has a lot more stuff going on in the Wars show.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, like I said, like, specifically, like, how they carry their movie as a villain. So, Okay, so Dragon, you have 15 seconds.
Dooku isn't all that smart, and he went out like a dope. I mean, again, he was decapitated and betrayed like a stooge. Honestly, and again, because he didn't really think this agreement with the Emperor through, and again, he's interchangeable like a Sith. Grievous went out fighting, he was shot in the heart and everything. He gets past.
Stay focused. Okay, I'm gonna give Sandy like 2 extra seconds if he wants it. So Sandy, you have 17 seconds.
Sam, I'm gonna need you to mute the thing, please.
Sam, if you can mute. Sam, can you hear us?
I think he's.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
No, Sam.
Oh.
Sam.
Well,
Oh, wait. Hello, guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Kind of. Y'all were kind of cutting out a bit.
all
right,
I heard the last thing that I remember hearing
Pick up the
was that y'all had to limit it to how they carried their films.
okay, so he essentially missed Dragon's statement.
So I guess like since I missed that, do you want me to like forfeit my critique round?
Yes, so sure.
Okay.
Can you
Okay,
mute
and
the
then
thing though, you're kind of.
yeah, please mute your mic, Sam, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's going on?
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, Sandy, you have 15 seconds.
Dooku is just as deadly as Grievous, if not more, because he refrains from showing off all his power while Grievous goes off in a bizarre manner, showing off all his power that he has. Dooku is sneaky and he uses his power only when he really needs it. If you've seen the Clone Wars, you know exactly what
Actually, I'm sorry, Sandy. You have a couple seconds.
he's
So if
calm,
you've seen
cool,
the
and
Clone Wars,
collected.
okay. So if you've seen the Clone Wars, he's calm, cool, and collected. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that last. Make sure you had a chance to finish that last sentence. Okay.
Wait, hold it, Tiki. Wait, if it's just the movies, why is he specified?
Well,
taking
I
the
told
point
you
away?
guys. Well, okay, that's the one thing. That's the one thing that Sandy has for beyond the movie. Sandy, stick to the movie if you don't mind. But I'll make it fair because
I just want to put that thought in your head because it's still Dooku we're talking about here.
okay, and it's fair. I'll make it fair because Dragon did get something in his opening statement about Grievous. So just stick to the movies generally, guys. So let's see. We're on our second 15-second rebuttal. Dragon, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Let me point out, Grievous is a bad guy who can use a lightsaber, which until Force Awakens really haven't had that opportunity to really have the characters. Well, aside from that, and Han Solo briefly, other characters use lightsabers, and he made the most of it. He went up against Jedi's, and he's gone pretty far. I mean, Duke, as we've seen in my movie, doesn't fare so well.
Okay, Sandy, I'll let you finish your sentence if you need to, but 15 seconds.
A calm, cool, and collected villain makes for a terrifying one because you never know how much power they possess, which makes for a secretly deadly and dangerous character, much like Dooku clones and his other appearances, which I won't mention at this time. Grievous on the other hand.
Okay, finally, 30-second final statement, starting with Dragon.
look goes a long way in Star Wars, and Grievous is definitely the coolest looking between these two. Dooku's just he's a failed proto Vader. That's what he is. My guy, again, he's an upgrade from Darth Maul, and basically Darth Maul with kind of a Boba Fettish look in terms of, again, style. Again, it's kind of a style, and he's pretty deadly in a fight, and he's got a lot of presence versus Dooku. Dooku's just like, oh yes, I'm the bad guy because the script says so, and then I'm interchangeable. I mean, I'm filling in for Vader.
Okay, Sandy, final statement whenever you're ready.
And Grievous takes orders from Dooku. Let's remember that. Grievous takes orders from Dooku because basically he's Dooku's stooge. He just does whatever Dooku wants. He does whatever the Emperor wants. Again, Dooku is calm, cool, and collected. This makes for a very, very interesting and a very dangerous and deadly character and very deadly villain. If you see the scene where he's talking to Obi-Wan through the tank, it's very interesting because you don't know how dangerous this character really is. You don't know what he's going to do or when he's going to break out into his full.
Fact check. That's in 3.
Okay. Good points from each side. You guys tried as hard as you could to stick within the parameters of the two films. Like I said, I'm mostly judging based on which one is more effective in the film. Dragon, one of the things you said late in the game really was a really good statement, which is visuals go a long way in Star Wars. Kind of what I was wanting to see. Because essentially what it comes down to is I think Grievous has a better design, and I think Dooku has probably a more interesting character, like more interesting writing on his character. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, Jacob, is there anything you want to throw in here?
I'm not going to give out my particular opinion just yet, but you really should have talked about the look of Count Dooku's lightsaber amongst the rest of them.
Also, one of the things with Dooku that I kept waiting for that would have been a very easy way to fill in some time is it's Christopher Lee, man. Come on.
Yeah, it speaks for itself, though. You know that.
No. It doesn't. I mean, I know we all know it's Christopher Lee, Sandy, but you could have used that in your debate, man. So, valiant effort on Sandy's part. Valiant effort, but I have to say, Dragon wins the debate once again. So, this is becoming a reoccurring trend, right?
Honestly, my honest opinion would have been Sandy. My honest opinion would have been Sandy's point, but I guess they're the one in charge here.
Basically, it comes down to more variety in the debates because I kept hearing from Sandy it's essentially like he's calm, cool, and collected. That makes him terrifying. Whereas I felt like I felt like Dragon was more.
All from Dragon was the design aspect. That's all I got.
You're saying
no, not necessarily.
He's better? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying what?
Because that's not what matters in the long run. You know that, right?
What are you saying, Sandy?
Are you saying Grievous is a better villain because he looks cooler?
No, I'm not. But that wasn't all that Dragon had in his argument, though. He also had a lot of good takedowns.
That was the crux of his argument, though.
Well, yeah, I'm the crux of Sandy's. Okay, look, guys, I'm sorry. The point is, I think
character, not his look. Whatever. It's fine. Congratulations, Dragon. Yay!
Right.
Sam, unmute your mic if you have something to say, Sam.
You're all good, Sam.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot that it was mute.
Yeah.
So even though I was not able to judge this round, I personally would have given it to Count Dooku. Simply for my own personal feelings about it. I think Count Dooku actually, I don't think that the focus of episode 3 is General Grievous at all. The focus is Anakin. And the focus of episode 2, villain-wise, the villain is Anakin and the Emperor in episode 3. The villain in episode 2 very much is Count Dooku.
Guys, I'm sorry. I know you guys are, now I feel like I'm being beaten up on here, but at the end of the day, what I was hearing was, I was kind of hearing Dragon do a better job of kind of defining his character and then take down Count Dooku. whereas I just kind of kept hearing the same point being repeated with Sandy. So
I had new things to say each time. I don't know what I was repeating. I mean, I did repeat stuff, but I had new stuff to add on that made previous argument.
would we like to do a tiebreaker?
Oh, I need to go to bed, honestly.
Well, I mean, shoot, like I feel bad because like this is just like it's me making a call as a judge, but like I said, I was listening intently and I just thought, it was close. It was definitely close. I do think both of you had good things to say, but at the end of the day, I think Dragon articulated it a little better. And like I said, it really did come down, Sandy. It really, at the end of the day, comes down to Dragon kind of fired off more points against Count Dooku than I heard against General Grievous. So I'm sorry. Like I don't want to end this on a bad note, guys, because this has been a really fun debate. So can we all just get along?
Yeah.
Okay. so once again, Dragon is the reigning champion of Disney debates. Although I gotta say, just moving forward, I think we need to do something to fix the functionality of the pitches on this show, because we just keep running into dead ends with that. But overall, guys, very, very fun. Great questions, great debates. Sam, thank you so much for taking a lot of time out of your night to do this. Appreciate it.
I miss this. I miss it. So
it sounds like you've got like some activity going on in your house, so I appreciate
it. And then something happened with a friend, so I had to respond to that. So
okay. Well, by all means, Sam, I appreciate that you were able to like juggle everything that was going on and chime in as a really good judge.
You guys were absolutely fantastic. I thought the debate was very well done. I think everyone had moments where they brought really good arguments to the table and articulated them very well. Yeah.
All right, and Sam, like I said, we will be doing. I don't know, Sam. Like, fair warning to you, you already know this, but I don't necessarily know if we'll be able to do 2 podcasts for each round of Creator Games. But we'll certainly try. What we're trying to do is do an Imagineering Files, where we kind of look at the history. We kind of have a discussion about the Creator Games project, and then also do a recap of the projects when they're turned in. The first project, Sam, you know the first project better than I do.
Yeah, the first project is we'll be picking an unbuilt Disney project and making it real again.
So essentially, Sam and I, we're going to get into a podcast talking about unbuilt Disney concepts. I believe that's already a thing that we did with Adventure Blue Do back in the early days, but it's a really good concept. It's worth exploring again, I think, especially with new eyes with Sam. So, and then, like I said, we'll be covering the projects themselves. Should be a really fun time. Definitely hope to add more Imagineering back into So You Want to Be an Imagineer. And then, let's see, me and Dragon are continuing our Disney debates. Jacob and I, we've got something special planned, but we'll hold on.
Not Disney debates. Remember, we got the other thing.
Daredevil. We have Daredevil. I'm sorry. Jacob, should we announce our little special surprise now?
There, go ahead.
It's a boy!
Our special surprise is, with all the success we've been getting on the channel over our animation recaps, and with all the hype that the DuckTales reboot is getting, Jacob and I are taking it upon ourselves to rewatch and do vlogs for each and every of the original 100 episodes of the original DuckTales show. So that's going to be a good project. It'll be a lot of fun. There's a lot of story arcs and, characters get introduced and develop over time in that show. It's not the most complex thing in the world, certainly not, but I'm really excited for it. Now, ideally, I'd like to get all 100 episodes done before the new show premieres, and if the new show premieres in, like November, we're good, but if the new show premieres in, May, well, that's a little bit more of a time crunch, so we'll just have to wait and see. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for joining the debates. And without further ado, play us out, Snoopy.
Is that a Mexican Snoopy?
Yes.
Mariachi.
Just gonna wait for that. They're just gonna wait for that to finish.